A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Rupert Barlow, wealthy backer of Larry Noble's last play, is in a happy frame of mind as he dresses in the master bedroom of his luxurious Long Island estate on this bright fall afternoon. From his point of view, everything is running smoothly. He's unaware that Victor, his chauffeur, doesn't share his happy mood. And we hear him say,
"Have the convertible out front in half an hour, Victor. We'll be going to New York."
Yes, sir.
I wonder if it wouldn't be wise to pack a bag and take along a few changes of clothes.
Well, how long do you expect to be gone, Mr. Barlow? I thought you said you was only going to drive into New York.
Well, so I did, Victor. But I don't know about my plans. It might be that I shall stay in the city for a few days. I might be needed.
I thought you said you was giving up the New York apartment to Mrs. Noble.
Well, what about it? Have you any objection to my lending my apartment to a very dear friend in distress?
Well, no. Only I just wondered where you'd be staying.
Well, not that it's any of your concern, Victor, but I should like to remind you that I have several clubs and the pick of hotels in New York. I doubt if it'll be very difficult for me to find a place to stay.
It's okay with me, boss. I only just asked.
Seems to me that you've been in a surly frame of mind lately, Victor. I don't like to see that.
Guess if you was in my place, you wouldn't be so cheerful either, Mr. Barlow.
Well, why do you say that?
Maybe you don't remember because it don't mean anything to you. But you sure put me on the spot when the police was questioning me about that Oliver Wilson's murder.
Oh, that.
Yeah, and they made it plenty tough. You knew they would if you didn't go to bat for me.
There wasn't anything I could do, Victor. You were foolish enough to be seen backstage at the Hamilton Theater having a fight with young Wilson, shortly before they found him murdered with a rope around his neck.
Sure, and the cops wanted to pin the murder on me. If they hadn't have got the goods on Mr. Larry Noble, they'd have done it, too. You didn't even lift a finger to help me.
Well, you needn't worry any longer, Victor. The police have made up their minds that Mr. Noble killed the man. Now, both you and Julia Dixon will be able to breathe more freely.
You talk like we got you to thank for it.
Oh, and so you have, in a way.
I don't get it. What makes you think they won't change their minds about Mr. Noble and come back and start asking a lot of questions? They know I hated that guy, Wilson, from the day Miss Julia brought him back with her from Bermuda. He put on airs and started ordering me around like it was dirt under his feet.
Well, this may teach you to curb that temper of yours, Victor. It doesn't do to make threats where others can hear you.
Since I worked for you, I had to make plenty of threats to get you out of some rough spots. Only when it comes to helping me, you just forget all about that.
Oh, I had no idea you were so touchy, Victor. Now forget about this stupid grudge. I tell you, everything is settled. The police are entirely satisfied that Mr. Noble killed Oliver Wilson in a jealous rage after he found out that Claudia Vincent had eloped with the young man. It's quite apparent that Noble was madly infatuated with Claudia. Don't ask me why. You think that a man with a wife like Mary Noble would never so much as look at another woman. But there you have it. An open and shut case.
Maybe. But now that you got this famous lawyer, this Mr. Brewster, maybe it won't be so open and shut. Maybe he'll go digging up a lot of dirt and get us all mixed up in the murder again.
I believe you can rest assured that nothing of the sort will happen.
It's all right for you to say, Mr. Barlow, but how do I know?
Because I'm paying Clarence Brewster's fee, and I know what he intends to do.
You mean he's going to railroad the Noble guy into the chair?
Certainly not. Mr. Brewster is a reputable attorney. But I will tell you in confidence that he is convinced that Larry Noble is guilty, and he sees no chance of getting him acquitted. Now, I don't want you to breathe a word of this to anyone, Victor. You'd better get the car around. I'll be ready in a few minutes, and I don't want to keep Mrs. Noble waiting.
I guess this kind of gives you the inside track where Mrs. Noble's concerned.
Well, you put it very badly, Victor, but you're quite right. I'm happy to say that I've finally been able to convince the lady of what my friendship is worth.
Sure took you plenty long. I bet it's going to cost you a fortune.
I rather imagine it'll be well worth the trouble, Victor. I have no regrets.
Rupert, may I speak to you a minute?
Oh, of course, Julia. The devil, I was hoping to get away without a scene. Come in, Julia.
I had no idea you'd returned until Hilda told me a few minutes ago.
Well, I drove down from New York around noon.
You didn't bother to speak to me. Oh, no, why should you? I'm just your housekeeper and secretary. I'm not supposed to have any feelings.
I'll bring the car around, boss, right away.
Rupert, you're not leaving again.
I'm sorry, my dear Julia, but I have to be back in New York, a most important appointment.
You don't have to lie to me, Rupert. I know where you're going. I know all about you and your carrying on with Mary Noble. It's no secret that she's moved into your New York apartment and that you're paying that fancy lawyer, Clarence Brewster, to defend her husband.
Well, don't you think this is the least I could do for the poor woman in this terrible trouble?
Aren't you happy at the way everything is turning out? All the months you've tried to make an impression on Mary Noble. All the times you've run after her like a lovesick schoolboy and she's turned you down. Now you're making a great hit, aren't you, Rupert? And you're as proud as Punch. You don't even realize that you're being played for a fool by Mary. Why wouldn't she fuss over you now? Why wouldn't she accept everything you offer? You're rich and prominent and entirely gullible where that mousy little creature is concerned.
You're very free with your opinions, Julia. And yet it seems to me you do well to wait a safe period of time before saying too much.
What do you mean by that, Rupert?
You shouldn't forget that Clarence Brewster is only beginning to plan his defense. His object, of course, is to have Larry Noble acquitted. How do you know that he won't look about and wonder how it is that you, who brought Oliver Wilson to this country and who believed in his romantic importunings, haven't greater reason to murder the chap than anyone, including Larry Noble?
You'd like it if I were arrested, wouldn't you?
My dear Julia, now surely you know better than that. But I feel that you should be warned against talking foolishly when you're so close to the crime.
Is that a threat, Rupert?
Certainly not, my dear. Just a word of counsel. But I can't wait any longer. I must be on my way. I don't know when I'll be back. It may be several days, perhaps even longer.
Julia Dixon stands like a stone image as Rupert Barlow takes his leave. White with anger, she feels helpless to combat this man. Meantime, Mary is visiting with Larry in the visiting room at the New York City jail that has become so familiar to them since Larry's arrest. And we hear her say,
Larry, I have a message from Tom Bryson. I thought you'd be glad to hear about it.
He's been a great help through all this mess. Not a sign of him since the day of my arrest. What happened to him? Did he find the spotlight too harsh for his delicate hide?
Darling, you're not being fair to Tom.
Not being fair. He's supposed to be our closest friend, with the possible exception of Maud Marlowe.
Of course he is.
Well, sure looks like it. When he runs out on me at a time like this, my pal, my good friend, good old Tom Bryson. Just let him send a bit of trouble and he runs out like a rabbit.
Larry, please don't. Let me explain what happened.
All right, go ahead. Not that it makes any difference. What lovely plot has he cooked up to explain his absence? He ought to be fairly original, since he's supposed to be a playwright.
Tom flew out to the coast right after the murder. He's been very sick with virus pneumonia ever since. He says he'll be back as soon as he can make it.
And how did he manage to get away? I thought he'd be called in as a witness. He was in the party that night, if you remember. Your highly successful theater party to watch Claudia Vincent on her first night in the play.
Oh, don't remind me of my theater party, Larry. Every time I think about it, I could cry. I feel so terribly responsible. If I hadn't asked all those people to be at the performance, you wouldn't be here today.
Honey, I'm sorry I said that. It's not your fault. I don't know how the devil this is ever going to end, but I know that you're not to blame. Even if you always did think my interest in Claudia Vincent was more than just a platonic friendship.
I can't help my feelings about Claudia, Larry. I'd never trust her in a million years, never. Maybe it's just my personal jealousy. But whatever the reason, I know that she's a dangerous woman.
Oh, nonsense, Mary. Claudia may have her faults. She certainly didn't use good sense when she ran off and married Oliver Wilson, but that's no reason to call her dangerous.
It isn't? Do you think you'd be here this minute facing a murder charge if Claudia hadn't eloped with Oliver?
So you believe the story, too? You think I cared that much about her that I'd commit murder?
Darling, no, that's not what I meant at all. You've got it all wrong, Larry. I'm trying to make you see that Claudia is doing her best to make you look guilty.
Well, why would she do that?
To divert suspicion from herself.
Oh, that's not like you, Mary. To try to blame somebody for a crime as serious as this just because you don't like her.
Mary starts to speak again, but changes her mind. And all the same, she continues to believe what she has just said. Will her suspicions ever be put to a test? Well, be sure to be listening Monday to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Clifford D. Simak's story of the 21st century, How To.
Build your own three-dimensional color TV set. Complete kit, screwdriver assembly in 3 hours. Nah, I've done that. Well, let's see. A dog is man's best friend. Build your own dog. Complete kit, spaniel model, only $250. Yeah, hey, that's it. My next project.
Gordon, is that you?
Yeah, yeah. Where are you?
Out on the terrace. I'm just finishing a landscape.
Oh, hi, yeah. Grace, look, did it come?
Now, don't kiss me. You'll get all full of paint.
I wasn't going to. Where's the package?
Well, they set it against the side of the house. Over there, see?
Oh, it came, huh? I want to look at it.
I would have put it down in the basement, but I couldn't lift it.
Hey, this is pretty heavy for a spaniel. I can't lift this myself.
Well, I'll start dinner as soon as I finish this part of the picture. I want to get the grass while the light's right.
Yes, all right. So no hurry. I want to examine the kid anyhow.
Of course, if you didn't waste our money on things like dog kits, maybe we could afford a robot, and I wouldn't have to cook.
Yeah. All right.
There. That should be enough for now. The light's beginning to get tricky. Good night. You're not going to open that thing here on the terrace. Now, you make a mess.
I just want to see the parts. You know, this thing's too big and heavy to be a dog kit.
Maybe it's a Great Dane.
No, it can't be. Look, here's the shipping tag.
From How To Kits, Inc. to Gordon Knight. One dog kit, spaniel model, $250, paid in full.
The Great Dane cost $350.
Well, all I can say is that must be the world's biggest spaniel.
Hey, you know, that's darn funny.
I told you I don't want you fooling around with it up here. Now take it down in
Grace,
the basement.
this can't be a dog kit. You know what I think? It's a robot.
A robot? But you didn't order a robot. Or did you?
No, certainly not. They made a shipping error. That's about the size of it. Ah, doggone it. I'll have to put this crate back together again and call the express company.
Are you going to return it?
Well, certainly I'm going to return it. You don't think we can keep it, do you?
Well, why not? The tag says paid in full, so they can't say we owe them anything.
But it's a robot. They're expensive.
Well, I don't see how the company will ever know. When inventory time comes around, they'll be short one robot and long one dog.
Guess I've always wanted to put together a real robot. Lord knows when I'd get another chance.
Then it's settled.
No, it is not settled either. I tell you what, I'll put it together just to see what it's like. But I won't activate it, see? I mean, I'll disassemble it right away and ship it back to the company.
Well, there we
Grace, look at it. Isn't that a beauty, though?
You finished?
Well, all but the activating.
Oh.
Grace.
What?
You know, I was just thinking, how do I know I've got all the parts adjusted properly?
I haven't the remotest idea.
No, the only sure way would be to test it.
You mean activate?
Well, only for a minute or two, you understand? Just to be sure.
Then what?
Well, then I'll disassemble it naturally.
Well, all right. As long as you don't take too long.
No. I'll have it in a jiffy. Now, here, look. Oh, see, all I have to do is just put on the activating plate. Yeah. And turn this lock nut. See, like so. Now, wait a minute. Just adjust the automatic current control. Huh? Yeah, there, now. That should do it. Now, stand back. Now, I'll turn it on.
I hope it works.
Oh, it'll work. I followed the directions to the letter. You ready? Now.
It works!
Yeah, I'll have to oil that joint. Wait. Grace, it's moving its head.
My name is Albert. I am a robot. What is there to do?
Well, it certainly has a nice voice.
Now, take it easy, Albert. Just sit down and rest, and we'll have a little talk.
There's no need to rest. I was made to work.
Well, as long as it doesn't need to rest, I can think of 100 things for it to do. Now, there's the house and the garden and the lawn.
No, look, Grace.
I wonder if he could learn to cook.
A robot can be taught to do anything a person can do.
Oh.
No, hold on a minute, Albert, please, and listen to me. We can't keep you understand. You were sent here by mistake. But, as long as you're activated, there wouldn't be any harm in letting you do a few things.
I can do anything.
Good. The whole house needs a thorough cleaning.
Grace.
Then, of course, I'd like some new drapes for the study.
No.
And the kitchen hasn't been painted for 4 years. Then there's that leaky faucet.
Oh, Lord.
Well, what's the matter?
Attachments. There aren't any. Look, he can't do all that stuff without attachments. And they cost almost as much as the robot itself.
Don't worry about attachments. Just tell me what's to be done.
Well, you heard my wife.
Oh, what about your grounds?
Oh, I got 100 beat-up acres that need attention, but of course I realize that's too much work, huh?
Don't worry about a thing. I can fix it for you. I will make the necessary equipment.
Make your own attachment?
Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, but how?
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop arguing with him and let him get to work.
I'm not arguing.
Morning, Gordon. Your coffee's ready.
Yeah.
How'd you sleep, dear?
Oh, not so good. I kept hearing noises all night.
Oh, that was Albert working in the basement.
Yeah. Albert? Hey, gosh, that's right. I forgot robots don't sleep.
He was working all night. When I came into the kitchen just now, I found the breakfast all prepared. He can cook. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. What's he doing now?
Oh, I don't know. Making something, I think. Oh, Gordon, he's going to be such a tremendous help to me. I'll be able to spend more time than ever with my painting.
Now, wait a minute. What makes you think we can keep him? No, Grace. We could get into trouble.
I don't see how. I'll tell you what. Why don't you walk over and call on Anson Lee? He could advise you.
What does he know about it?
He's a lawyer.
Well, technically, he's a lawyer. He never seems to work at it anymore.
Well, you have to understand Anson, that's all.
Look, I understand him all right. He's a reactionary, a throwback to the 20th century. Spends all his time lying in a hammock, drinking and reading Proust.
Well, it's what he enjoys doing.
I'll bet that guy never assembled a kit in his life. Can you imagine that?
Well, we all have our peculiarities. Just the same, he could give you legal advice.
Well, all right. I'll go over after breakfast if it'll make you feel any happier. Pass the cream.
I'll have a drink, Knight. Hard cider. Made it myself.
Thought you didn't go in for home projects, Lee.
Oh, I don't. Making this cider was the first honest work I've done in years.
I don't doubt it.
Every time I get a end to work, I look across at your place and I decide against it. How many rooms have you added to that house since you got it built?
8.
Good Lord. Think of that. 8 rooms.
No. It's not hard once you get the knack. It's kind of fun. You just buy a how-to kit.
Sure, I know. Just follow directions.
That's right.
Anybody can build a robot on a kitchen table. Well, no thanks.
Well, why do you say that?
What?
I mean about building a robot.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose I expect you to start building one any time now. You've done everything else. What's got into people these days, Knight? They just aren't equipped to enjoy their leisure. That is, most of them aren't. Me? I am. I read, and I lie in a hammock, and now and again I even think.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that makes me an eccentric. Here, have another drink.
Oh, no, thanks. I'll have to get back to my place. Albert.
You call me, sir?
Yes, Albert, listen to me. Albert, I have reached a decision about you.
But I'm not Albert, sir.
Huh?
You would hardly expect Albert to be clipping hedges.
Well, if you're not Albert, who are you?
Abe, Albert is down in the basement.
Well, what are you doing here? Where did you come from?
If you wish to talk to me, you will have to move along the hedge with me.
Oh.
I cannot stop working.
Oh, okay, move along. But where did you come from?
Albert made me.
Albert made you?
And now he's down in the basement working on Alfred.
Alfred? Another robot?
Certainly. That is what Albert is for. He makes robots.
Oh, no. Albert.
Oh, there you are.
Albert, what's going on here?
I'm reproducing.
What?
I have a built-in mother urge. I don't know why they named me Albert. I should have had a female name.
Oh, but you shouldn't be able to make robots.
Look, boss, you worry a lot. You want robots, don't you?
Well, yeah, I guess everybody could use a robot.
I make robots. I'm making all you need.
Albert, put down that head and listen to me. I want to have a serious talk.
Sure, boss. What's on your mind?
Now, Albert, I just looked through your packing case and I found this tag. Look, it says X, 190. X, Albert. Don't you understand? That means you're an experimental model.
That's correct.
You were never meant to be sold.
That is also correct.
I know. Don't you see? That means trouble. I can't keep you.
I've already taken care of that.
How do you mean?
I filed off my serial number and replated the surface.
Well, why did you do that?
So that they can't come around and take me back. They made me, and then they got scared and shut me off. But you're not afraid of me.
I'm
You
not.
assembled me and let me go to work.
Yep.
I'm sticking with you, boss.
Wait a minute. This could mean a lot of trouble for me, Albert.
No trouble. They can't prove a thing. I'll swear that you made me. I'll not let them take me back. They will take no chances next time. They'll break me up for scrap.
Oh, but look, if you make too many robots...
Robots are useful. You need a lot of them in this place. Now, don't worry, boss. Everything will work out.
Well...
I'll take good care of you.
Yeah.
Now, I must go back to work. Adelbert is nearly finished.
Mr. Knight, I'm from the county tax office. Tax assessor.
Oh, I didn't know you fellas came around more than once a year.
Ordinarily, we don't. This is a special case.
Oh?
Made a lot of improvements in the place the past few days.
Oh.
Landscaping, painting, building.
Well...
Afraid I'll have to boost your assessment some.
I see.
Heard about those robots of yours, too.
Robots?
Personal property, you know. Have to pay a tax on them. Just how many have you got?
Oh, one or two.
I've been counting. They move around so fast I can't be sure, but I estimate the number at 38. That right?
If you say so.
38 it is, then. They cost $10,000 apiece. I'll assess them at 5. That's $190,000.
Oh, no, hey, that's pretty steep.
But I'm going easy on you. By rights, I should only allow you a third for depreciation. Well, that's it, Mr. Knight. $190,000.
Wait.
We'll send you the bill with your quarterly statement.
But...
Good day.
Good day. Albert, look, I've been holding off until we got the new landscaping job under control, but I can't hold off any longer. I mean, we got to start selling some of the robots.
Selling?
Yeah, 20 of them. That should do for a start. The tax assessor was here. I need the cash.
You can't sell the robots, boss.
Why can't I?
Because they're my family, my boys. Named after me, all of them.
Albert, I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous.
They're all I've got, boss. You wouldn't sell your own children, would you?
Well...
All their names start with A, just like mine. Abe, Adelbert, Alfred, Adam, Aaron, Anton, Axel.
All right. Don't go through the whole roll call. I mean, the point is I need the money.
Don't you worry, boss. I'll fix everything. You have nothing to worry about.
The point is, Mr. Knight, the Internal Revenue Department is always interested when a citizen shows a substantial capital gain during the year.
Capital gain? I haven't made any capital gain.
Oh, come, sir. I'm talking about the matter of some 52 robots. Well, as I understand it, their retail value is $10,000 each.
So they say.
52 times 10,000 is $520,000. On capital gains, you pay 50% or $260,000.
200, oh.
A tax, roughly, of $130,000.
Well, what do I do?
By the 15th of next month, you must file a declaration of estimated income. You pay half of the due tax at that time, and the balance in monthly installments. And there's one other matter.
One other matter?
We investigated. We found you make $10,000 a year.
Huh?
Would you tell me, out of personal curiosity, you understand?
I understand.
Just how a man of your particular means could show a capital gain of $500,000 in so short a time?
I'm beginning to wonder myself.
Well, our only concern is you pay your tax.
Yeah.
However, some other branch of the federal government might very well want to ask some questions sometime.
Oh?
If I were you, Mr. Knight, I would be ready with some answers.
Yeah.
Good day.
Good day. Albert, now look, I tell you, this is a crisis. Do you understand it? Like it or not, I have got to sell some of your boys, a whole bunch of them.
Boss, I told you not to worry.
Not to worry. Listen, I just came from the income tax people. I owe the government a cool $130,000, and those boys don't fool around. I'm desperate.
Money is no trouble, boss. Come here.
Come where?
Over here. Look at this.
What's this? What, those bales? What have they got? Don't tell me.
Full of money, boss. Help yourself.
You mean the actual, real money in those bales? Not stage money now.
Real money, boss. No ones, of course, but lots of 10s and 20s.
Yeah.
That bale over there is full of 50s.
Full of 50s.
We didn't fool around with the ones.
Albert, look me in the eye. Did you make that money?
You said you needed it. We took some bills and analyzed the ink. I found out how to weave the paper and made plates. I hate sounding modest, boss, but they're beautiful.
Oh, my gosh, I'm a counterfeiter, too.
We just ran off as much as we thought you'd need.
Yeah.
If it's not enough, we'll make some more.
It's enough, not another dollar.
Well, you're the boss.
Albert, listen to me. There are laws in this country. I mean, you just can't go out and print money. That's a crime, don't you understand? Now, look, you take it all outside and burn it right up. You understand? And don't print any more. That is an order.
Gordon, are you down here?
I'm busy.
I hate to disturb you, dear, but I thought you ought to know about the sheriff.
I don't want to know the sheriff.
He was here with a subpoena, or whatever you call them.
That's what you call him.
Seems the how-to company's going to sue us.
Oh, no. Oh, no, all right, that does it.
Gordon,
does it.
Where are you going?
To see my lawyer.
Offhand, old man, I'd say you were in quite a jam.
I didn't have to walk all the way over here to find that out. The point is, Lee, what in the name of heaven can I do?
Well, first, you'll have to file a declaration of estimated income.
Even if I can't pay?
Well, especially if you can't pay.
Oh.
Technically, then, you haven't violated the law, and all they can do is to try to collect what you owe.
Yeah.
They'll probably slap an attachment on your bank account.
What bank account? I'm broke.
Oh. Well, then I'd say your major worry is the how-to company suit.
Yeah.
Now, if I were you, I'd settle it out of court.
Out of court?
Mm-hmm. They might call off the action if you returned all the robots.
Albert says he'll testify that I made him.
Well, Albert can't testify. As a robot, he has no standing in court.
Mm-hmm.
No, you better give them back and get what terms you can.
No. I won't do it.
Huh?
I won't. Don't you see? They don't want Albert back because they can use him. They want to break him up to maintain their robot prices. Don't you see? It might be 1,000 years before his principle is rediscovered, if it ever is.
Mm-hmm. Would that be bad?
I don't know. Only time will tell that, but, I mean, you could say the same thing about any great invention. Look, no, I will not let them destroy Albert.
Yes, I see your point, Knight. And I like it.
You like it?
Uh-huh. I'll take the case. Now, of course, I ought to warn you, I'm not a very good lawyer.
I know.
I don't work hard enough at it.
But I do have a chance, huh?
In all my practice at law, Knight, I never saw a man who had gotten himself as fouled up as this.
No.
I'd say your chances are nil.
Yeah.
Boss?
It's Albert.
Boss, I heard about the suit.
Yeah, it's all right, Albert. Mr. Lee here is going to handle our case.
We robots want to help.
I'm afraid there's not much you can do.
Oh, yes, there is. I'm building a lawyer robot.
He's building a lawyer robot?
With far greater memory capacity than any human. And with brain computers that operate on logic. That's what law is based on, isn't it? Logic.
Well, so I've heard. But it won't work, Albert. To practice law, you must be admitted to the bar. To be admitted to the bar, you must have a degree in law and pass an examination. And although there's never been an occasion to establish a precedent, I suspect the applicant must be human.
Lee, wait a minute. What about law clerks? I mean, they don't have to be human.
Well, I'd say that was completely true.
Yeah, then Albert's robots can be clerks.
Mm-hmm. Well, could be.
See what I mean?
Yes. It's never been done, but there's nothing in the law that says it can't be done.
Then it's settled. I'll make a dozen to start. Each one will be an expert in one phase of the law. Boss, you're going to have the most powerful battery of legal talent ever assembled under one roof.
Quiet in the court. Mr. Lee, what is the meaning of this outrage?
What outrage, Your Honor?
Those robots sitting at the defense table.
These, Your Honor, are my valued assistants.
Robots?
Yes, Your Honor.
Take them away. They have no standing in this court.
If Your Honor will excuse me, they need no standing. I am the sole representative of the defendant. My client is a poor man, and he is opposed by the most formidable array of legal talent money can buy. Now, surely the court will not deny him whatever assistance he's been able to muster.
This, sir, is highly irregular.
If it please Your Honor, I should like to point out that we live in a mechanized age. The court clerk uses a machine to take down the transcript of these very proceedings. To my certain knowledge, no court has ever challenged the presence of such a device as an aid to the furtherance of justice. Now, if Your Honor can point out anything in the law specifically barring these robots from the court...
That's ridiculous, sir. Of course there is no such provision. At no time anywhere did anyone dream such a contingency would arise.
In that case, sir, I ask the court for a favorable ruling.
Mr. Lee, as you point out, there is no precedent for my ruling in any way but in your favor. Therefore, sir, with reluctance, I do so at this time.
And what kind of a day has it been? It's a day in which a new kind of trial has suddenly captured the imagination of the public. A trial in which a man accused of misappropriating a robot has brought into court a whole battery of robots to aid in his defense.
To give validity to their argument, Your Honor, it must first be proved that these robots are, in fact, the property of the plaintiff. That is the issue at trial in this case.
So, in the now famous robot case, the issue has come down to this. Was the robot stolen or was he liberated? It is a far-reaching question indeed.
Your Honor, I have already established that robots are possessed of free will, that they have the power of reasoning, and that they can most certainly reproduce. As to my worthy opponent's fourth contention, that they have no spiritual sense, I contend that this is irrelevant. There are agnostics and atheists in the human race, and in general, no one has denied them their full rights on this count.
And so the trial has at last come to its end. The whole nation, indeed the whole world, awaits the momentous decision which must be handed down. In Washington, D.C., Treasury officials have been meeting steadily for a week to find some way to avoid the loss of the enormous taxes on robots in the event the decision rendered is in favor of the defense. One high government official has said that if robots are declared free and equal, it means they must be given full citizen rights under the Constitution. Already, the chairmen of both major political parties are mapping campaigns to corner the robot vote.
Welcome home, darling.
Yeah, thank you. But what's going on here, Grace? I have more trouble getting into my own home than into the Pentagon.
Oh, you mean the robots? They've set up a defense perimeter.
A defense...
Uh-huh.
Albert.
Hello, boss. Welcome home.
Albert, what is the meaning of all the barbed wire and the rocket launchers?
Just precautions, boss. We're ready for any situation.
Such as?
Oh, like a mob deciding to take justice into its own hands, for instance.
Or if the decision goes against us?
That too, boss.
Dear, you two go on and talk. I've really got to get back to my painting. I have a beautiful still life that I simply got to finish.
Yeah, I finished. Albert, listen. You can't fight the whole world.
We won't go back. How Two Kits Incorporated will never lay a hand on me or any of my children.
Albert, this is madness, don't you understand? They'd get you with one bomb. And me, too.
Better to die fighting, boss, than to live in chains.
I don't know.
That's our motto. No matter what happens, we're ready for the decision.
The court is ready to render its decision. It is the most difficult decision I have ever made. For in following the letter of the law, I fear I may be subverting its spirit. After long days of earnest consideration of both the law and the evidence, as presented in this court, I find for the defendant, Gordon Knight. I cannot rule otherwise. May I add that this ruling, in spite of the fact that I myself made it, outrages my social conscience.
You did it, boss. You did it. We're free.
Yes, Albert. We sure did it. Where's my wife?
In the studio, painting.
Not another landscape.
Her fifth this week. She's doing very well.
Yes, isn't she?
And I am working on a new robot for her. A painter. Soon she won't have to bother doing it herself.
That's nice.
And you won't have to do anything anymore either, boss.
Oh?
Not a thing.
Oh?
We're going to take care of you from here on out.
Thanks.
Did I tell you about my new children yet?
No, I don't think so.
Alice, Angeline, Agnes, Agatha, Alberta, and Abigail.
Daughters?
6 of them, boss. And all with a built-in reproducing instinct just like mine.
Oh, no.
They're down in the basement now turning out robots.
Great.
We've got everything worked out for you, boss. You won't have to worry about a thing for the rest of your life.
No, Albert. Not a thing.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Name Your Symptom by Jim Harmon, a story of a future in which anyone who shunned a cure needed to have his head examined, assuming he still had one left. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you How To, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Clifford D. Simak and adapted for radio by William Welch. Featured in the cast were Alan Bunce, Ann Seymour, Les Damon, Joseph Bell, James Monks, William Key, Lawson Zerby, Santos Ortega, and Ben Brower. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Hear politics and primaries, Dateline, Illinois, and Wisconsin, tonight on NBC Radio.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, some of the funniest situations you've ever witnessed occur every Wednesday night when the devilish imagination of MC Jack Bailey gets to work on NBC's Truth or Consequences. You won't believe it until you hear it, so listen in tomorrow. Then another laugh session is in store later on with the wise and witty Groucho Marx as he and contestants play You Bet Your Life, while the melodic note in your Wednesday evening schedule is music and fun on Airtime with Giselle McKenzie.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the Mark Clifton story, Star Bright.
Well, it's finally happened. I've known it would for a long time now. That's why I'm writing this, in the hopes that you'll understand and not think me mad. Whatever the outcome, I hope you will not judge me too harshly for what I've done or failed to do.
Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes.
Come in. Oh, hello, Chief.
I just wanted to let you know, sir, that we're doing everything we can to find the children.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
We've got 300 men out combing the woods for them. The Army base has volunteered another 100 men, and we've sent an all-points bulletin to every police unit in the country.
Fine.
I just wanted to check and make certain our description is accurate. Your little girl, Star, was wearing a blue dress and white sandals. Is that right?
That's right.
And she is how old?
6 years old.
And the little Howell boy, how old was he?
7, I believe, yes. 7.
Uh-huh, thank you. Well, I'll be in touch with you.
Well, that's very good of you, Chief. Oh, by the way,
yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Howell, how are they taking it?
Well, they're pretty upset, naturally. Mr. Howell, he's out with the men searching.
Yes, I know.
And Mrs. Howell's in the car outside.
Ruth is outside? Why didn't she come in?
Well, she said she'd rather not.
Oh, I see.
Do you, Pete?
Well, Mrs. Howell, I thought...
I decided to come in. I'm not going to sit on my feelings any longer.
Now, Mrs.
No,
Howell...
I have to say this. Pete, Bill and I have been your neighbors for almost a year now. Our children have been almost inseparable.
I know that.
Then how can you just sit here writing letters when they may be lost somewhere or in trouble? Why aren't you out with Bill and the rest of them searching?
I can't. Ruth, I know how you feel. Please try to understand. I intend to help find Bobby and Star, but I must do this first.
Why? What's so important about it?
Ruth, I'm sorry.
Sorry? Then why don't you act like a man? You're inhuman.
Please.
I don't ever want to see you or speak to you again. Ever.
Perhaps you won't.
What was that, Mr. Holmes?
Nothing. Chief, if you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a moment.
Okay, Mr. Holmes. I'll keep in touch.
How can I tell them? How can I make them understand? I write this to you because they must be made to understand somehow, but I have to begin at the beginning. I think I first noticed it one evening when Star was 3 years old. I was in my reading chair going over some work. Star was sitting on the floor in the circle of light with her blunt-nosed scissors and scraps of paper. Her long silence made me glance down.
And then we glue this together, put a line here and there.
Star?
Like that.
Star?
What is it, Daddy?
Can I see what you've made?
Uh-huh.
Well. It's quite a coincidence.
What?
You know what they call a piece of paper joined together with a half-twist like this?
Nope.
It's called a Mobius strip.
You mean somebody already made one?
A man named Mobius, mathematician, long time ago.
Did he know you can put a line on it like that so it has one side all joined?
Yes, he did. Someday I'll tell you what it means.
Now do it.
What?
Tell me about a Mobius strip.
Very complicated.
Then read me about it.
Oh, you wouldn't understand, honey.
Read me anyway.
Okay, young lady. But I warn you, it'll be like one of those nonsense rhymes. At least, I hope it will. At 3 years, a child shouldn't have enough functioning intelligence to put together a Mobius strip. I had known for some time now that Star was an exceptionally bright child. Just how bright, I had no idea. Not until I began to read to her from an advanced physics book, The Theory of the Mobius Strip. To the power of infinity. Now then, are you sufficiently mixed up, young lady?
Daddy, you know what?
What?
You read too slow. You say a word, then I think a long time, then you say another word.
Oh, I see. Just what would you have me do about it?
Well, teach me to read. Then I can think as quick as I want.
The word is quickly. It's an adverb.
Oh, Daddy, really? You pick on such unimportant things. I want to learn to read.
Okay. When would you like to begin?
Right now, tonight.
Before she went to bed that evening, my daughter was able to read. In the months that followed, a great deal happened. Some of our friends, like Jim Petrie, have dropped in and been amused to see her on the floor, rapidly turning the pages of an encyclopedia as big as she is. Sit down, Jim.
Oh, thanks.
Star, aren't you going to say hello to Uncle Jim?
Hello.
I see she's taken to looking at the pictures in the encyclopedia, huh?
Oh, yeah, yes. Come on in the library, Jim. I'd like to talk to you privately.
Yeah, sure thing.
Bring your drink, huh?
Okay.
I'll shut the door here.
Why all the secrecy?
Sit down.
Hmm?
Now, Jim, we've been friends, you and I, ever since engineering school.
So?
Neither of us have ever mentioned it, but one of the reasons we were drawn together is because both of us have IQ somewhere up in the genius ratings.
Oh, I think it was more than that.
Well, that played a part. It isn't easy to be exceptional in a world which regards mediocrity as the only behavior above suspicion.
Well, we all have to live with our afflictions. Yours and mine is a quick mind in a dull environment.
What would you do, Jim, if you were a parent, as I am, whose wife had died, as Eleanor did, and you discovered that your only child was, well, afflicted with a fantastically brilliant mind?
Star? Oh, come on, Pete. Any little girl who's content just to look at the pictures in the encyclopedia.
Jim.
I mean, after
Jim.
all. What?
She wasn't looking at the pictures.
Huh?
She was reading the pages.
What? But she was turning them as fast as humanly possible.
She was reading them.
But
I know. I've tested her. She not only remembers everything, she understands the concepts. She even gets impatient with them.
Well, have you measured her?
Well, I've given her IQ tests, aptitude tests, reaction tables, all the paraphernalia for measuring something we know nothing about.
And?
Tests don't work.
How do you mean?
Well, either the tables are screwy or stars beyond all measurement.
Pete, are you sure you're not projecting this? I mean, isn't it possible that a few accidental...
Daddy.
Yes, honey.
I got lonely.
Okay, come on in.
Uncle Jim, would you read me a story?
Why don't you read your own story?
Because I'm only 3, and 3-year-olds can't read.
And so she had found the answer to her affliction by herself. Conformity. She had already learned to conceal her intelligence. So many of us break our hearts before we learn that. When Star was 4 years old, according to state law, her mind had developed enough so she could attend nursery school.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, honey. Did you, like nursery school?
Oh, yes, it was fun.
What'd you learn today?
Not much. I tried to cut out paper dolls, but the scissors kept slipping.
Now, look, Star, don't overdo it. That's as bad as being too quick. The idea is that everybody has to be just about standard average. That's the only thing people will tolerate. It's expected that a little girl of 4 should know how to cut out paper dolls properly.
Oh. I guess that's the hard part, isn't it, Daddy? To know how much you ought to know.
Yeah. That's the part I always found hard when I was young.
It's really all right. I let one little girl show me how to cut them out, so now she likes me. She just took charge of me and told the other kids they should like me, too. So they did, because she's the leader, even if she is one of the stupids.
What?
The stupids. That's the trouble with you, Daddy. You don't grasp things right away. That's because you're only a tween.
A tween? I assume that means an in-between?
That's right. You're in between a stupid and a bright.
And you're a bright.
Yes. I made those names up when I was very little.
How little?
Oh, about 6 months old.
The thoughts began to whirl around in my head after that one. A small fear kept growing inside me. How profound was this little imp that was staring up at me? How much did she understand already? Even as the thought formed, I learned the final horrifying fact about my little girl.
It's all right, Daddy. Don't be afraid of me.
Well, how did you know that I was thinking anything like that?
Well, I just figured it out.
Star.
Yes, Daddy?
Now, I want you to answer me honestly when I ask you this next question, will you?
Yes.
Star. Can you read people's minds? Are you a telepath? Well?
Yes, Daddy.
I thought so. You read my mind just now, didn't you?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to know something else.
All right.
Can you teach me to do it?
You're already learning it, Daddy. The trouble is you're so slow you didn't even know you were learning.
Oh, I see.
Daddy?
Yeah?
You know what I wish?
What do you wish?
Well, nothing.
All the same, I knew exactly what she was wishing. She was wishing for a companion whose mind would match her own. You see, I was becoming telepathic. Just a minute. Well, hello.
Is your little girl home?
Yeah, she's upstairs. Who are you?
I'm Robert.
Robert who?
Robert Howell. My mother and father moved next door yesterday.
Oh, well, come in, Robert.
I'd like to play with your little girl.
How'd you know I had a little girl?
Oh, I just know.
Oh, I see. And how old are you?
I'm 6.
Well, I'll ask Star to come downstairs. I'm sure she'll be glad to see you.
Yes, she will.
Tell me, Robert, are you a tween or a bride?
Oh, I'm a... What did you say, Mr. Holmes?
Nothing. I didn't have to say it. I could read his thought. He was a bride, and it was no accident that he and his parents had moved next door. Somehow, Star had managed to make contact with him, and they had arranged the whole thing. A father is prepared to lose his daughter eventually, but not so soon, not so terribly soon. They're coming. Oh, hello, Ruth. Something wrong?
Well, I was just looking for Bobby. I thought he was over here playing with Star.
Well, I thought they were over at your place.
I don't understand it.
I have noticed that they've been disappearing for a couple of hours almost every afternoon.
Well, I suppose they'll turn up again. They know better than to cross the street by themselves. They're too little for that. If they come here first, tell them to come over and have some milk and cookies.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, by the way, this must belong to your Star.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, some sort of coin or medal or something. I found it out in the backyard after Star and Bobby were playing. It looks brand new.
Let's have a look.
Oh, is something wrong?
Did you say you found this in your backyard?
Yes. What is it?
I don't know.
Well, I've got to get back. Bill will be getting home for dinner soon, so see you later.
Yes.
Hello?
Jim?
Yes.
Do you have a portable spectrophotometer?
Well, sure. We've got a dozen here at the lab.
Pack one up and get over here right away, will you?
Well, Pete, I don't quit till 5.
Look, do as I say, huh? It's important.
Well, okay.
Well? Let me check the amount of radioactivity again.
You've checked it 4 times.
That's about it.
Okay. What's your opinion of this coin?
Well, first of all, let me say this. It's the real McCoy.
And?
Also, it doesn't exist.
Makes sense.
Look, Pete, that coin is pre-Egyptian. It's hand-cast. It's made out of one of the oldest bronze alloys, one that was lost 4,000 years ago.
So it's 4,000 years old.
It is, and it isn't.
What do you mean?
Listen, Pete, Old coins show wear. The edges get rounded with handling. The surface oxidizes. The molecular structure changes, crystallizes. Pete, this coin is authentic, and yet it's brand new. It might have been struck off yesterday.
You realize, of course, that that's impossible.
Where'd you get it, Pete?
I don't know. I think the kid's got it.
Star?
Yes.
How?
I don't know. I'm almost afraid to think.
Well, why not ask her?
She isn't around. She and Robert are off playing somewhere.
Well, do you know where?
No, Oh, Jim, it's just too fantastic. It isn't possible.
I haven't said a word.
I know what you're thinking.
As a matter of fact, I was thinking something fantastic. How did you guess?
I just guessed. Jim, let's find those kids right now.
Okay.
Star. Robert. Let's try the playroom. Star. Robert. Not in here. Let's try back here.
I hear something.
What?
Pete, it's coming from the room we were just in.
That's impossible. There's no place they could have hidden.
I'm going to open that door.
Peekaboo, Uncle Jim.
There they were, in the middle of the playroom, holding hands, a little shamefaced, a little defiant. Star. Robert, where have you been? Now, I know you weren't in this room a few seconds ago, and there are no windows you could get through. Well?
It's nothing, Daddy. We just went a little way.
That is not answering me. Where did you go?
You see, Star, we've found this coin.
Come on.
I shouldn't have to tell you. You're both just tweens.
Star, I'm still your daddy. Even brights have feelings about their parents. Now.
I tried to ESP you, Daddy.
Does she mean extrasensory perception?
Yes.
You just don't ESP good, Daddy. Robert does it very nicely. He can always find me when I hide.
That's because you don't have much imagination.
I do, too.
Yeah, but you always have to look at a book to ESP what's in it so you leave an ESP smudge. I just look at where you left the smudge, and I go to that place, and that time, and there you are.
Oh, but that's cheating.
It isn't. You just haven't got imagination. You can't teleport yourself to a place that hasn't been.
I can, too. What about the moon people? They haven't been yet.
Oh, Star, they have, too. Not for your daddy, they haven't, but for the things from Arcturus. The moon people were about 10 million light years ago.
Now, wait a minute, kids. Hold on. Jim, have you been listening to this?
I think I heard it.
Now, look, kids. You're either playing a big joke on us older folks, or you've actually figured out a way to travel to places in the past. Right?
And in the future, too, Daddy.
Star, could you tell us how you do it?
It would be easier if I could ESP it to you.
Well, just pretend we're stupids and tell us in words.
Well, you remember the Mobius strip?
I remember. She made it about a year ago, Jim.
Well, you join the ends of a strip of paper with a half twist to make one surface. Then you take a sheet and give it a half twist so you can join the edges together all over.
That's Klein's bottle.
Oh, you know about that.
Yes, we know that. Go on.
Well, then you take a cube. You imagine a cube, and you twist it.
Tesseract?
Shh. Go on, Star.
And you ESP the twisted cube all together the same way you did Klein's bottle. Now, if you do that big enough all around you so you're sort of folded into it, you can teleport yourself any place you want to go. And that's all there is to it.
Jim, what do you think?
I need another drink, Pete. A big one.
That's all there was to it. The line, the plane, the cube, those were Euclidean physics. The Mobius strip, the Klein bottle, the twisted cube, those were Einsteinian physics. Well, I was pretty advanced in both, but I'd have to do some heavy thinking to really grasp it. Meanwhile, the two little kids stood there staring at us.
Star, Robert, can you tell us some of the places you've been?
All over, Uncle Jim. The Romans and the Egyptians and places like that.
Is that how you got the coin?
Uh-huh, I found it. It wasn't stealing, was it, Daddy? I just found it in the dirt.
We'll skip that for a minute. What about going to the future?
There isn't any future, Mr. Holmes.
What's that?
It's kind of hard to explain. Even Star doesn't get it.
Oh.
But when she gets to be 6, like I am, she'll probably understand.
Well, try to explain it to me.
Well, it's all connected, just like the Mobius strip. If you go far enough, you'll get back to where it starts again. You start with the cavemen, then us men, then atomic men, the moon men, planet men, star men, and Bright. Only somehow...
What?
The Brights got off the strip. We haven't been able to find them any place in time.
I'd sure like to know how they got off and where they are.
Now, look, kids, this kind of thing can be dangerous. You might be eaten by a dinosaur or something.
Oh, we just ESP ourselves right out of there.
Well, anyway, I don't want you leaving this part of the time strip. Not again.
Daddy.
Now, I may be just a tween, but I'm your father.
I always mind you, Daddy.
Yeah? What about going off the block?
But, Daddy, we didn't cross a single street.
Nevertheless...
Pete, think of what you're doing. Pictures, specimens, recordings, not only from the past, but from the future. Pete, I beg you.
Jim, this is my daughter.
But what a contribution. We could be ages ahead of ourselves.
No. Star. Robert, I'd like your promise you won't leave present time again. Well?
Okay.
All right. Now run along. Robert's mother has some cookies and milk for you.
Okay. See you later, Daddy. See you there. Back with the Moon Man.
Jim, I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose if I had a daughter...
Are you going to report this?
And have everybody give me the horse laugh? I may be just a tween, Pete, but I'm not an utter fool.
It took me almost 6 months to do it. I don't know how many times I visualized a cube and ESP'd it a half twist and tried to seal the edges around me. And then once there was a flash, just for an instant. I was concentrating on Caesar's triumphant march into Rome. And for the briefest instant, there it was. I was standing on a roadway watching, and then it vanished. Hey.
Hi, Daddy.
What are you two characters plotting?
Nothing, Daddy.
Well, I'm going to my study for a while. Star?
Yes, Daddy?
You remember your promise about not leaving present time, don't you?
Yes, Daddy.
You going to keep it?
Yes, Daddy.
Okay. I'm holding you to it. Hello?
Hello, Pete. This is Ruth Howell.
Yeah?
Are the kids there?
No?
When did you see them last?
What time is it? Oh, about 10 this morning, 6 or 7 hours ago. Why?
Oh, Pete, I'm worried.
What's up?
Well, they were upstairs in Bobby's room. I was in the living room. Now, I could swear they didn't come downstairs, and yet, when I went up there, they were gone. That was over 5 hours ago.
Ruth, are you sure they didn't come down?
I was in that living room every moment. Pete,
Now, Ruth, don't get panicky. I'm coming right over. Just don't get panicky. There wasn't a trace of them. Well, that isn't exactly true. Remember what Robert had said about Star leaving an ESP smudge? Well, I was able to catch it in Robert's room. It had something to do with where the Brights went when they got off the time strip. That's it, of course. They wouldn't disobey by leaving present time. But isn't it possible that there is more than one present time? Isn't it possible that another now coexists with ours? That's the clue, of course.
I'm going to call the police, Pete.
I don't think it'll do any good.
But we've got to find them. They'd have come back by now.
Yes, if they could.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going back to my study to think.
To think? Aren't you going to look for them?
I have to figure out where to look.
Well, I'm not going to sit around doing nothing. I'm calling the police.
That was this morning. I've been doing some desperate concentrating since then, Jim. I'm writing this down so you'll know. I've already managed to go back to the time of Cheops and ahead to the time when men were navigating to distant planets in a matter of days. But the big job remains. How to get into a dimension parallel with our own at the same time. I figured out that to get the equivalent of a Mobius strip with depth, you must use the supercube, the tesseract. That's what I'm working on at the moment. If I succeed, there is a possibility. I may not be able to get back. I hope you will be able to make Bill and Ruth Howell understand. Okay, now if I take 6 cubes, and fold them in one another so that every angle is a right angle. Yes, all right, I've got that. And now I've been folding. I ESP the tesseract, a half twist around myself.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes, are you in there? Mr. Holmes? We'll have to break in. It's locked from the inside. Mr. Holmes.
Pete, where are you? Pete?
That's funny. The door was locked from the inside, but here's his fountain pen with the ink still wet. But he's gone.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the final installment of Frederick Pohl's novel, Slave Ship, story of a world engaged in the wildest of all possible non-wars, where the order of the day was even wilder still. Spare every animal and throw the men to the wolves. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Star Bright, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Mark Clifton and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Sarah Fussell, Lawson Zerby, Bill Quinn, Billy Harris, Ralph Bell, and Kate Wilkinson. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
In the dark, mysterious South Pacific Ocean, a magnificent yacht is carrying its passengers and crew on a strange cruise. Jerry Hall has joined Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford on the Gregory yacht to aid in the search for Mrs. Gregory's little girl. Lost at sea when a baby, the girl has been reported living on a mysterious island. The yacht was anchored off a bank of what appeared to be fog, but was not natural fog. With the aid of apparatus designed by Captain Bradford, Jerry and his friends have looked over the fog and down onto the island. It is now after dark. The yacht is being drawn through the weird ring of fog, drawn without a sound toward the magic island.
But Jerry, how could we be pulled to the island by the same magnetic force that was pushing it away from it an hour ago?
Well, you see, Mrs. Gregory, magnetism works both ways. Maybe I can't explain it right, but anyhow, a magnet can either be fixed to attract or repel. Is that what I'm trying to say, Captain Bradford?
Well, at least you're heading in the right direction, Jerry. It's a poor electrical engineer that can't do tricks with an electromagnet and plenty of power.
Electrical engineer? I thought we'd find a tribe of savages on this island, if we found anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured, too. That old sailor, you know, who lived on this island or visited or something, and then got away, he reported that he'd seen a little white girl living here with a strange race of savage people.
Well, I'm not so sure of that, son. Remember, we got the story over our shortwave in Los Angeles. At the same time, you got it over yours. And if I remember rightly, the report said a strange race of people, not a savage race.
Tex is right, Jerry. It did say a strange race. Of course, we naturally thought of savages as the only sort of people who might be living unknown to the rest of the world.
Well, we know now that the people who made all these scientific things we're running into are not savages. It looks to me like they know a whole lot of things we don't.
No doubt about it. And while we just stand and talk on this deck, a heavy yacht with 800 horsepower motors is drifting helplessly into something we know nothing about.
Well, let's quit talking and do something. We're drifting into that island pretty fast now.
We're inside the fog ring now. Oh, if only it wasn't dark.
We'll hit the island pretty soon. But, well, we're going slow. I guess it won't hurt the boat.
There's not a sound from anything.
Can't even hear a ripple of water. This water is oiled or treated with something to hold it still on the surface.
I can see a little light ahead. There's a yellow glow all over in front of us.
Nothing we can see distinctly, though. We're slowing up. The boat is barely moving.
Look, Tex. Can you see an outline there?
Where? No.
Where, Mrs. Gregory?
Just off the port beam, Jerry.
No, I don't see anything.
I do now. You're right, Pat. Look over here, kid. There's an arm jutting out right alongside the rail.
Golly of whiskers. It looks like a dock. We're drifting right up to it.
Not drifting. Don't forget, son. We're being pulled.
That light ahead is getting more distinct. I can make out the shoreline now.
Funny shoreline. It looks so straight and smooth. See? See, it's shining in that yellow glow.
Hold it. Quiet, both of you. Not a sound.
We're rubbing against a dock, or a pier, or a landing of some kind.
I thought so. And the boat has nearly stopped.
It has stopped. We're not making any headway.
But the stern is swinging in near that landing. Gee, the boat acts as if it had a shoreline, and we're being snubbed in.
We are being snubbed in, and without a line. This yacht is being warped against that dock by the same force that pulled us through the fog bank and into this shelter.
But why don't we see somebody or something?
Or hear something. Gosh, any kind of a noise would sound good right now. Hey, we stopped. We're hard against the thing on the port beam.
Yes, we're here. And I'm afraid, Jerry, my boy, that we're actually on your magic island. Whether we want to be or not.
Want to be? Why, Tex, we've come thousands of miles to find this place. And my little girl.
Do you think we'll really find Joan here, Captain? Like the old sailor said?
We're liable to find most anything here.
Then let's start looking for it.
You better go into your cabin, Pat. And stay there while Jerry and I have the first look around.
I should say not. Wherever you two go, I'm going.
Where are we going, Tex?
We're going to step out on that dock, or ramp, or whatever it is, and see what happens.
Oh, boy. Let's go.
Steady, son. You go back and tell the skipper to stand by. Tell him he can quit worrying about his anchors. We're fastened to this island until someone else wants us to go.
Yes, sir.
And Jerry, tell the skipper to look sharp and give us a signal if anybody boards him.
I'll be right back, sir.
Oh, Tex, what do you think we'll find here? What's going to happen? What manner of people live here?
Hold on now, Pat. You know as much about all that as I do. We'll just have to ease ashore and keep snooping around until we find something.
Or something finds us.
You better stay aboard, Pat.
I'm not afraid. That is, of course I'm afraid. Horribly afraid. But you're all here because of me. It's my little girl we're looking for. And I'll go wherever you go.
All right. You're the boss of this expedition.
Everything's shipshape aboard. I gave your orders to the skipper, Tex.
Any comments from him?
Well, he looked plenty worried. And he didn't even say as much as he usually does.
That would be only one word at a time.
This time he just nodded his head.
All right, now here's our situation as I see it. There's no use making any plans as to what we intend to do, because we haven't the faintest idea what conditions we'll find when we get ashore. Now, we'll just step over on that landing there, keep close together, and walk toward that yellow glow of light.
Whatever you say, Tex.
Aye, aye, sir.
All right, now. Over the side. I'll go first. All right, Jerry, come over. Now, Pat, give me your hand. Now, all stand still for a second. Try to get your eyes accustomed to this yellow light. What there is of it.
I can't see any better now than I could when we first saw that yellow light.
Neither can I. And yet, I can. There's something weird about that light.
I have an idea there'll be something weird about everything we see for some time to come. Now, Jerry, you walk on my right here. Pat, you on my left. Both of you stay close enough that we can rub elbows as we walk. And stay close. Now, let's start slowly and carefully toward that yellow glow. Neither of you speak until I tell you to. Ready?
I am.
Yes, Tex.
Not a sound. Here we go. And walk quietly. Stop.
What is it?
Did you see something?
No, and I didn't hear anything. That's what's wrong.
Well, what did you expect to hear?
Our footsteps. I felt this landing with my hands when we came off the yacht. And if I ever felt any before, it's made of concrete. But here are three of us, walking at a fair pace. I have on heavy boots with leather heels, and yet we didn't make a sound.
Oh, that's right.
Well, wait till I feel this stuff with my hands. You're right, Tex. That's concrete, all right. But when I felt it, I slapped it good and hard. It made almost no sound. Gee, do you think...
I think we've stumbled onto the greatest scientific miracle of our time. And there's no use in our trying to walk quietly or make any secret of our movements.
You mean we're being watched now? In the dark?
No. The captain means we're being watched by somebody who can see through this yellow haze, just as easy as we could see in broad daylight.
No doubt about that, son. This island, if it is an island, is years ahead of anything we have ever known. And it has people on it that know things we never dreamed of.
Could this all be artificial? The island, the fog, this light?
Yes, it could be. And it is. For the simple reason that it couldn't possibly be natural.
Golly whiskers. Well, what can we do?
We can only do one thing, Jerry. Keep walking toward the center of that yellow light.
Come on, men. I'm nervous and anxious to get it over with.
I can't even see as well as I could. Say, wait a minute. That's funny.
What's up, Jerry?
That yellow light. Look, behind us.
What? Why, the light has moved. The center of it is behind us now.
Yes, and if you look to the right or left, you'll see the center of it there, too.
But the center of it couldn't be all around us.
It has no center. That yellow glow is perfectly diffused all over this area.
Then maybe we're not walking toward the light at all.
We're just walking through it. What if we walk off the edge of something here?
Here, you get in the middle, Pat. No, I'll stay in the middle. You two are much lighter than I am. And if one of you slips off of something, the other two of us can pull you back onto this stuff we're walking on.
Wouldn't you think we'd hear something soon?
Yes, or see somebody.
This has got me breaking out with ice water freckles. Me, we'd better stop and think it over again.
Getting scared, Jerry?
You bet I'm scared.
So am I, Jerry, but we may as well go on until... Oh.
What is it?
Which one of you gave me these?
Huh? Gave you what?
I gave you nothing. What do you... Huh? Well, why hand them to me?
What are you two talking about?
Pat just handed them to me.
I did not. I still have the ones you gave me.
Hey, now I've got them. Where did they come from?
Pat, Jerry, steady now, both of you. Just answer my questions one at a time.
Okay.
Yes, Tex.
Jerry, have you got a pair of glasses in your hands?
Yeah, sure. Mrs. Gregory just handed them to me.
Jerry, you handed them to me.
Quiet. One at a time, I said. Have you also got a pair of glasses in your hands now, Pat?
Yes, I have. But I...
Yes, and I've got a pair.
But where did...
Tex, what is this?
Quiet, I said. They mean our lives. Quiet while I talk. Someone or something we couldn't hear, see, or feel, has just handed each of us a pair of glasses. There must be a reason for that.
Well, I don't want to find out what it is.
Oh, Tex, what have we gotten into?
You know about as much about it as I do. There's only one thing to do. Each keep your grip on the other one's arm and put your glasses on with one hand.
But what do you suppose the glasses are for?
What any glasses are for, to see through.
But it's nearly dark, worse than dark. What good will glasses do?
Someone handed us those glasses. Someone who made no sound. And they weren't fumbling around in the dark because they didn't touch us at all. Therefore, whoever it was must have been able to see, and see perfectly. I think the time has come when we'll be allowed to see our surroundings.
I'm putting mine on.
Me too. But I'm shaking so I can't find my face. There now.
Just stand still and... Well, it's getting lighter.
No, it isn't. It's the glasses.
I'm beginning to see.
Take it as calm as you can. No matter what you see, it won't help any to crack up about it.
Tex, look. Right beside me.
They're almost on top of us.
Look, there. Over there. Oh.
It's a long way from the coast of California to the South Seas, but many ocean liners travel that route with no more excitement than a trolley car ride. And almost directly in the path of these steamers lies a strange, hidden island, the magic island of the South Seas. The Gregory yacht has sailed to this island in search of Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter. Now the yacht is held fast to the island by a powerful magnetic force. Jerry, Captain Bradford, and Mrs. Gregory leave the yacht. They stumble blindly through the weird yellow half-light that covers everything. Suddenly, some unseen person or phantom thing thrusts a pair of glasses into the hands of each.
Oh, Tex. Jerry, look.
They're all around us.
And we haven't heard the slightest sound.
I felt better when I couldn't see them.
Speak to them, Tex. Say something to them. They aren't making any move to harm us.
I'll go near them. You and Jerry stay. But I can't move.
I'm scared, too. But I can move anyway. I'll show you. Gee, I can't even move my arms.
It's almost as if we were rooted to this spot.
Gosh, why don't they move or say something?
Speak to them, Tex. Get them to move. This will drive us mad.
Steady, Patricia. These men are not savages. They're strangely dressed, but they look civilized and intelligent.
But why can't we move?
I know why, but I don't know how it's being done. I have a gun in my pocket. I can feel it being drawn downward.
Sure, that's it. Magnetism again. That's why my flashlight feels like it weighs a ton in my pocket.
Oh, my head. Something's pulling at my hair. Oh, of course, the metal hairpin. What's holding our hands and feet so still?
I think we'll find out a lot in a minute. One of those men are coming towards us now.
Yeah. His legs are moving all right. He's walking pretty fast. Say, why doesn't he get any closer to us?
Oh, this yellow light is deceptive. Probably an illusion deliberately created to throw our sense of perspective out of balance. I'll bet they don't speak English. Let me do the talking if we get a chance to do anything. Hello there. How do you do?
I guess I don't speak anything.
We'll soon find out. Well, if I could move my arms, I could shake hands with this gentleman.
I think that will not be necessary. In fact, it would not be advisable.
Golly whiskers, he can talk.
It's a relief to hear English spoken in this strange place.
This strange place? Madame is mistaken. This is a perfectly natural place. You three are the strange elements here.
Well, I guess you're right at that. We seem to have intruded upon something that's a little bit beyond our depth. What's it all about, Professor?
Oh, do not apply to me the title you confer upon your petty educators in what you so grandly choose to call your world. World, indeed. Why, you poor innocents cannot even dream of the world as it is given to us to know it. Now, I will introduce myself. I am called G47.
Gee whiz.
No, G47.
Is this real, Tex?
It is, but no one back home will believe us.
May I ask a question of you, G47?
At least, Madame Gregory, you...
He knows me.
Silence, Madame, or I shall think you as rude as your strange companions.
I'm sorry, but I was so surprised that you should know me.
I think we're going to be more surprised if we can find something this guy don't know.
You are a very observant person for one so young.
Well, before we go on with this display of our ignorance and your confounded superiority, you might at least call off your magnetic force. It'd be more comfortable if we could walk around a little.
I am disappointed in you, Captain Bradford.
Oh, you win, G47. Suppose we could have moved long ago if we'd had sense enough to try it.
You were released the moment I spoke to you. Now, if you are through gaping and wondering, I will be glad to answer Madame Gregory's question. The object of your search is here.
Then the old sailor's story was true. There is a little white girl living here.
Gee, and can we see her right away?
Yes, let's get it over with, or do we just stand here all night?
Your rudeness will be overlooked this time, Captain Bradford. You will follow me. Come.
Well, I guess nobody who saw this would ever make fun of my magic island again.
You will see no magic here. This is a land of fact. Cold, hard, scientific fact.
What you say is obviously true, but we've been accustomed to getting our facts in a little less spectacular manner. Everything here is real enough, but it's all so strange to us.
Notice how all these other men merely stand aside and let us pass. They don't look curious, happy, angry. They just don't look anything.
Guess they don't think we rate getting excited about.
On the contrary, you are rather interesting subjects. It will be a pleasure to study you at greater length when time permits.
Well, it isn't the most comfortable feeling in the world to be spoken of as a subject for study, as if we were bugs on a microscopic slide.
But remember, Pat, as long as we're being studied, we'll be alive, and while...
And while you're alive, there is always the possibility of your escape, eh?
That can wait. Please, G47, may we see the little girl?
We are nearly to the ladies' quarters now.
I imagine the ladies of your colony are kept rather well protected in the event your island might be surprised and perhaps captured, eh, G47?
Do not be unnecessarily stupid. We fear nothing.
I've got an idea he means that.
May we inquire where the ladies of your colony may be found? I see none of them.
This is the 602nd period, when the ladies are engaged in caring for their living quarters, making their dresses for tomorrow.
You mean 600 seconds as we figure time in our world?
Precisely.
But, golly whiskers, 600 seconds. That's only 10 minutes. You mean the ladies make their own dresses in 10 minutes?
And attend to caring for their living quarters in the same time? 5 minutes to make a dress,
It
Pat.
is a waste of valuable time, I admit. But we haven't been able to solve the problem of making a satisfactory garment in less than 300 seconds.
Good heavens, 5 minutes to make a dress, and the man calls it a waste of time.
I said 300 seconds, not 5 minutes. We have no time to deal in minutes here. Time is too precious. We measure it in seconds.
I'll bet these guys could put up the Empire State Building in their lunch hour. Boy, oh boy.
And the ladies make a new dress for every day?
Precisely. You will see all that being done and more before you leave the Isle of Euclidia.
So that's it, Euclidia. You named your scientific island for Euclid, the father of geometry.
You are learning, Captain Bradford. I am called G47, as the highest authority in Euclidia on the subject of mathematics. G for geometry, 47 for the squaring of the circle, the 47th problem of Euclid.
G47. And do all the other men on the island have names like yours?
No, they are all different from mine.
I mean, are they, do they mean something like yours does?
Everything on this island means something. The names are similar to mine. But enough with this childish prattle. Directly before you, you will notice a small, gleaming copper door. You are expected. Enter. I will return for you when the time limit of your visit is reached.
Well, if we ever wake up at all, this is going to be a dream hard to forget.
This is no dream. It's the real thing. A magic island.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Do you think we'll really see my little girl after all this? Will she prove to be my little girl? My little daughter, Joan?
Well, let's knock on this door and find out. Gee, the door opened. Without a sound before I touched it.
Are we supposed to walk right in?
You may enter.
Did you hear that?
A young girl's voice. Let's go in. What a small room. Oh, are you... How do you do?
Will you not sit down? Allow me, Mrs. Gregory. You there, Captain Bradford? And you here, Gerald.
Gerald?
Oh, Tex,
Steady, Patricia. Now take it as calmly as you can. Jerry and I will just sit quietly in the background, as far back as we can go back in this little cubbyhole. You go ahead and talk to her. Find out if... Good luck, dear.
Do you mind if I question you?
Not at all. We of Euclidia encourage conversation when the subject is of value and takes little time. Remember, we are allowed but 120 seconds for this visit.
Gee, Tex, whoever heard of a 15-year-old girl talking like that?
Hush, Jerry. Let's don't use up any of Mrs. Gregory's 120 seconds.
Your name... What are you called, my dear?
I am called Cleostra. Each one on Euclidia has a namesake in science. Cleostratus was an astronomer of ancient Greece who arranged the signs of the zodiac. I came to this island on the day the Euclideans changed the calendar from your clumsy one of 12 months of different length to our perfect one of 13 months. Hence, I was called Cleostra in honor of that day.
Golly whiskers. That girl knows more than my school teacher.
Hush, Jerry.
Tell me, my... Cleostra, do you know how you came to this island, to Euclidia?
Why, of course. I was cast upon the island after a shipwreck near here. I was tied to a sinking lifeboat.
Yes, that would be right. The lifeboat was sinking. All the men left it and tried to swim to safety so that you and I would have a better chance to live. I remember tying you to the boat, and then I could remember nothing else.
You remember? You tied me to that boat?
Yes, that's the last thing I remember. That was 14 years ago. You should be 15 now.
The keeper of the records tells me I am just 15.
But you spoke of fastening me to the lifeboat. You? Who are you?
I am your mother. I am Mrs. Patricia Gregory.
I know all that. But you are someone else also. There is something, I cannot explain it. My feeling is strange to me. But the Euclidians have kept so much news of the world from me. I suppose we are very happy here, yet I have often wished to know something of the world. Your world. Now you've brought that to me.
Will you turn your head? May I touch you, my child?
Certainly. Oh, you feel so strange. So warm and friendly. Your hands. No one's hands ever felt like that to me before.
I knew your hair would be golden and curly, and I'm afraid to look. It would be a tiny star-shaped scar at the base of your neck. Oh, it's here. Tex. Jerry, the scar. It's Joan, my baby. My little daughter, Joan. My little girl.
Exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
We all believe pretty solidly that sooner or later almost any problem you name is going to be solved. So, apparently all you'd have to do is just sort of stand by, and if you could wait, it would be solved for you. I don't think that works right. There's another thing to consider.
Exploring Tomorrow is presented by the Mutual Broadcasting System in cooperation with L&M, today's most exciting cigarette. L&M smokes cleaner, tastes best. Live modern. Smoke modern L&M. The Kraft Foods Company, makers of delicious new Kraft jellies and preserves. And Cape Coral, a beautiful waterfront wonderland on the western coast of Florida. In a moment, John Campbell returns with the story of Time Heals. If you're like most couples, you want the retirement years to be as rewarding as any in your lives. Years to do all the things you put off while the children were growing up. Well, those years can be rewarding if you start saving now. And the simplest way to save is by joining the payroll savings plan. Here's how it works. First, decide how much you want to put aside each week. Then, this amount is automatically set aside from your paycheck each payday and put into United States savings bonds. Today, Series E bonds are better than ever because the interest rate is higher, 3.25%, and because the maturity is under 9 years. Now you can get more faster. So make sure your retirement years are happy ones. Join the payroll savings plan where you work today. This message is brought to you as a public service.
Animals have trouble when it's cold. Of course, they grow warm fur. Human beings have gotten around the problem of having to grow that fur and not being able to get rid of it in the hot weather by using clothes instead. Now, that solved that problem very neatly. Of course, it did bring in the different problem of having to make clothes, and having to figure out ways of raising cotton or wool. You know, when you do solve a problem, sometimes it involves setting up a complex thing to make the solution, and that may be a tougher problem than the problem you started with. Let's consider a fellow who tries walking out of time when he has a problem.
Our last night together.
Oh, I don't know, Dorothy. Not necessarily. I might come out of that time field a year from now.
Or 50 years from now, when I'm old and tired and ugly, and you'll still be young. No, I think I'd rather you waited at least a century.
The traditional period in Elf Hill, I believe.
Oh, Jim. Jim, let's stop pretending to be so calm and gallant. There are only the two of us here. Let's just curse our luck for the vile thing it is.
There's also the champagne here. Mustn't shock the champagne. I'll open the next bottle.
Oh, but you have to be flip every minute, even now. Tomorrow you won't be Jim Hart, bright young advertising executive, wit wolf, an idol of Manhattan's more high-priced intelligentsia. Tomorrow you'll be frozen in a block of frozen time. Can't you let down the mask just for tonight?
But you see, my dear, there is no mask. This is me. I dare not admit anything else. I'll get that champagne. Oh, forgive my choice of music. Childish, perhaps, under the circumstances, but I'm entitled to a little melodrama, am I not? After all, this is literally a life and death proposition for me. The crypt is right at the end of this corridor, Mr. Hart. Pretty far underground, aren't we, Doctor? Yes, besides being way off upstate. It's in case of, atomic bombs, rising sea level, whatever might happen. After all, this place may have to last for centuries. What's your trouble again, Mr. Hart? Inoperable cancer. My family physician said I'd be dead within a year, unless a cure can be found. And that, of course, is what the crypt is for. Someday a cure will be found. Until then, you will lie here, snug, safe, unchanging, not even conscious of time passing in the outside world. Time heals all wounds, they say. And time is what we have the most of here. This is it. Just step up on that platform between those field coils. I'll flip a switch, and the next thing you know, you'll be in the future. Good enough. Mr. Hart, I was wondering if you have any last messages or... No, I said all my goodbyes yesterday, such as they were. I've had the sense to keep myself legally and emotionally unattached. Well, that should certainly give you an advantage over most of our patients up there in the future, whatever the future is like. Good luck, Mr. Hart. Thanks. But we needn't be so theatrical. You may need luck more than I, Doctor. Here goes, then. Goodbye.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
Hello, everybody. This is Bill Stern, and I'd like to tell you about a tropical paradise where living is so easy that I intend to settle down and stay there for the rest of my life. The name of my dream city is Cape Coral on the unspoiled western coast of Florida. Just picture 2,000 acres of high, dry pine and palm land honeycombed with 50 miles of navigable waterways just teeming with fish they write books about. Boating and fishing facilities, private country club and yacht anchorage, a planned 18-hole golf course, tennis courts, and many other luxuries. You can buy a large 80 by 125-foot home site for only $990. Only $20 down and $20 a month and live here like a king on a retirement budget, or purchase now for possible profitable resale later. The complete Cape Coral story has been compiled for you in easy-to-read literature. It's yours free of charge. A postcard's all you need. Send it to me, Bill Stern. So long for now. I'll be seeing you at Cape Coral, Florida.
To get your free literature, write Bill Stern, Cape Coral, Post Office Box 230, New York 18, New York.
It's certainly a reasonable proposition. If a man can just step outside of time and wait, sooner or later they're going to develop methods to handle the problems that are facing him at the time. They will develop cures. The advance of civilization is sure to lead to a cure of the particular problem man has. That's a simple proposition, isn't it?
All right, no. Do can do step. I reckon. What? But it's gone. The doctor. Do understand me? The crypt is changed. Half empty. Crumbled plaster. Old. And those two men down by the controls, what? Why, they look half Oriental. They're wearing kilts. Future. What year is this?
Oh, Almeric Wilder. Yeah.
What year is this? What year is this?
Todd Hart. You are Todd James Hart, are you not? It so says on the record.
Yes, I'm James Hart. And you?
I am called Hallam Rostam Dougal. My kitman here, he is called Wilder Rostam Chang. We both belong to the Rostam kith. Do you understand?
No, I don't.
Be calm. It are a shock, I know. Here, lean on my arm.
I never expected so suddenly. What year is it?
2837.
What? 900 years.
Yes. There were dark ages and upheavals, and then during interplanetary era, the mechaniclastic government did not wish. But be assured, Tough Heart, we are friends.
Can you cure me?
Oh, yes. We have a quick and easy cure for your disease. A synthetic virus which attacks only cancer cells. A month or two in the hospital, and you will be well again.
Well, that's good to know. That was the whole reason for my junket after all. 900 years.
I suggest we all go up to the surface now. The clinic is nearby.
All right. Say, how do you happen to speak my language, and your friend here doesn't?
Natural wise. Language changes in 900 years. Walter asked I should come interpret until you have learned modern speech. I am a linguist at Interkith Treaty Foundation. Most especially, I have studied the Old American language.
Old American?
Good morning, Tough Heart. I am your new nurse.
Well, hello there.
Tough Heart. I didn't know that you'd already learned the present-day language.
Oh, I've had several weeks with nothing else to do. Sheer desperation drove me to study it.
You must relax to get well. You know, good sir.
Oh, sure. Sunshine, fresh air, books, music, that's it. That's all I've seen. You don't even show television programs.
It was decided by the Philosophic Treaty 100 years ago that the unity of the family, and hence the kith, was impaired by external entertainment.
I've heard that sort of thing a million times. I'm sick of it. I can't even get a smoke in this dump.
Smoke?
Tobacco, nicotine. Puff, 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 puff.
Oh. A chemipotent aerosol. No, I'm afraid, sir, that the biotech machine has not prescribed it for your case.
Oh, never mind. Well, at least you're a new face around here, and a remarkably pretty one. What's your name?
I can't see that that's relevant, sir.
Of course it is.
My public name is Sarah Olaf Brona.
Oh, don't be so stiff and formal. Come over here. Sit down. I won't bite. Not very hard, anyway.
You're convalescing fast, I see.
Oh, sure. I'm practically a new man. Emphasis on man. Girl like you reminds me of that acutely.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Your usage is semantically empty.
Lord. Look, darling. Look, I want to get better acquainted, that's all. I'm lonesome.
I shall consult the psychotechnic files, and if there's anyone registered with a compatible individuality, I will ask him to come discuss with you.
Discuss with me? Well, thanks. That'll be just great.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
This, my friends, is the modern sound in music. Swing turned into bop, and bop turned into progressive jazz.
Life into that live modern flavor. Live modern with the big red L&M.
L&M, best tasting smoke you'll ever find. Made from the Southland's finest cigarette tobaccos. And you get that full, rich flavor coming at you through the miracle tip. Pure white inside, pure white outside. The patented filter. The patent number on every pack guarantees a more effective filter. On today's L&M. L&M smokes cleaner. Tastes best. Light into that L&M flavor. You're really living when you do.
Yes, it's a simple proposition that if you just wait around, they'll find a cure for your problem. The trouble with the proposition is that it's a little too simple. The other half of the proposition is they'll find other things, too. They'll find other problems to work on. And they won't be interested in the type of problems you've been used to.
Ah, Tobe Hart. It is a pleasure to see you well again. Please honor me by accepting a seat.
Well, thanks, but you wouldn't have anything I could really sit on, would you? I mean, I can't get used to this hard, low-legged stuff you call furniture nowadays.
Oh, my apologies, sir. I imagine one does need a lifetime to become habituated to a complex of postures.
Oh, well, forget it. It's a nice place you've got, Tobe Allen.
Well, pardon me, sir. One friendly word of advice. It is considered rude to compliment a man on his home.
That's why I've come to you, Mr. Tobe Allen. Look, you've studied the history of my own period. You may be able to help me. The rest, they're very polite, but I'm frozen out. I just don't fit in. Everything I do seems to offend somebody, somehow.
You feel yourself isolated?
Well, I made my own way. In the 20th century, I had friends. At least I knew a lot of people. I knew my way around. I was well-to-do. Here, I'm living on a pension out of the charity fund. I'm not invited anywhere because I don't know how to behave. Your conversations, your ceremonies bore me stiff anyway. It was politely explained to me that I haven't a good enough heredity for any kid to consider me as a marriage prospect. What did you take me out of the crypt for? Why did you cure me if I have to hang around here doing nothing for the rest of my life?
Oh, please, Tobe Hart, relax. I beg you.
Well, give me something to do. Just give me something to do. I'll prove myself. I can start with some simple job, work my way up, study, learn. I'll show you what I can do if you just give me a chance. From the weather station. From the one-man crew of a weather station on the Greenland ice cap. Supply a rocket once a month, and I give them all my reports. They try to make conversation. Well, what is there to talk about? All the snow I've been looking at. With the beautiful aurora up there in the night sky, the half-a-year night sky. Oh, sure. I'm sure they would discuss the aurora according to the soundest aesthetic semantics. Hey, shut up, you black in the sky. They're dead. They stopped. Do you hear me? How much do all the machines in this place do anyway? How much do they know? I'm one little man among 1,000 machines. How can I tell what they're thinking in those steel-brained cases? All I can do is copy numbers off their dials onto a printed form. Well, why isn't there a machine to do that, too? Why am I here at all? Charity, sure, make work. Where's the problem? At least they have the decency to leave me some bottles. Here, I know I left it here. Well, why quit anyhow? Here's a snug home, ample food, books, plenty to read, plenty to drink. Man, I got it made. There's even a pretty good 10-ounce tape here somewhere. It's going to be 10-ounce. Only no green leaves will ever spring out of me. I'll say it in German. Sure. Dead language. English is a dead language, too. I'm a dead language. Well, it's the way the civilization crumbles. Drink up, Dorothy. Here's to us.
Doesn't move. He doesn't move at all, nurse.
Leave him in his seat, please. It isn't far to go now, is it?
No, we'll land at the foot in another half an hour. But what could be wrong with him, nurse?
Obviously some mental breakdown. Nobody seems to know just what.
I think it's called a catatonic state. I don't know. He's insane, at least. The biotech at the Greenland station asked me to bring him back since I knew him best. This sort of thing isn't understood anymore. For better than a century, we've had a well-adjusted civilization. People simply don't go insane. At least not in this rather horrible fashion.
And so no one has any idea how to treat it.
Exactly. Oh, we could try various chemicals and whatever else occurred to us. But we would be working blindly with a grave risk of damaging his brain beyond repair.
So we are putting him back in the crypt.
Yes. The next cycle of civilization. 1,000 years from now, 10,000, 100,000 years. They will know how to cure Jane's heart.
But will he feel any more at home with them than with us?
Less, I should think. So he may break down again. So badly that even they can't cure him at that time. Then they will have to put him back in the crypt.
God help him.
God help us all.
John Campbell returns in just a moment. Remember how Grandma used to boil jellies and preserves on the stove in the kitchen? What a wonderful aroma. But you know that wonderful aroma was really flavor boiling away. And lots of folks still boil flavor away when they're making jellies and preserves. Not Kraft. Kraft jellies and preserves are cool cooked at temperatures way below boiling to keep the flavor many others boil away. That's why Kraft jellies and preserves have that true fresh-picked flavor. A flavor you can add to your favorite foods. There are so many ways to use these fresh, delicious flavors, such as a mouth-watering strawberry coffee cake. It tells you how in the free recipe folder. Flavor magic for your favorite foods with Kraft Jellies and Preserves. Just write to Kraft Jellies and Preserves, Box 5310, Chicago 77, Illinois. Box 5310, Chicago 77. Do it now before you forget. And be sure to get Kraft Jellies and Preserves. Exploring Tomorrow was presented by the Mutual Broadcasting System in cooperation with L&M, today's most exciting cigarette. L&M smokes cleaner, tastes best. Live modern. Smoke modern L&M. The Kraft Foods Company, makers of delicious new Kraft Jellies and Preserves. And Cape Coral, a beautiful waterfront wonderland on the western coast of Florida.
Yes, as time goes by, things do change, but the fundamental things apply. And the most fundamental of all, really, is you can't walk out on a problem and just let it take care of itself. By the time it gets taken care of, it's ready to take care of you, but good.
Join us each Wednesday and Friday night for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Lawson Zerbe, Connie Lembeck, and Sam Gray. Script was by Paul Anderson. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York.
This is Mutual, the world's largest network.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Yes, fellows and girls, here is an important message for you. A message direct from our fighting Marines in the Solomon Islands, echoed by our blue jackets on the high seas, by the boys who wear our Army and Navy wings, our troops in Africa, our commandos in England. In fact, by every man in the American Armed Forces, no matter where he may be. And here's the message. We're going to win this war, they say. We're going to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of this earth. We've taken on the job, and we're going to see it through, but we can't do it alone. We can't do it without the help of every boy and girl and every man and woman back home. Now, we know the one way we can help those boys fight this war to a victorious finish is to see that they get all the guns and tanks and ships and planes they need. But those things require a lot of money, and that's where you and I come in. We help our government to buy those war materials by lending them our money, by buying all the war stamps we possibly can. Why, right at this moment, there are American fighting men on the new front, and they're equipped with guns and tanks and protected by planes and ships that you helped to buy. That is, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly. So let's make a promise to ourselves right now. Let's promise to buy war-saving stamps as often as we can. Tell Mother and Dad about it. See if you can't get them to give you a dime a day for a war stamp, or even a dime every other day. And remember that every dime is important, because 10 cents will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets to be used by our soldiers, sailors, and Marines. 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to take an American destroyer 1 full mile closer to its objective. And a dime a day from all the fellows and girls in the United States will buy enough fast pursuit planes to blast Hitler's Luftwaffe right out of the sky. So, start right now, won't you, to do your share to help win this war. And remember this slogan: every time that you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp.
And now, the adventures of Superman. In our last episode, you remember how Editor Perry White of the Daily Planet telephoned Clark Kent and told him to come right down to the office. As Kent hung up the phone, we heard him say something about a forgotten world and prehistoric creatures. Well, to find out what it's all about, let's join Kent now as he reaches the office of Editor White. Listen.
Hi, Chief.
Hello, Kent. Kent, I'm afraid I've gone and done it again. It's taken him years, but he's convinced me at last. He's a crackpot, an eccentric, an idiot in some ways, but he's convinced me.
Well, who's convinced you of what?
You've heard of Dr. Leander Cameron, haven't you?
Yes. What about him?
And you've heard about his theories of the lost continent of Atlantis that he believes still exists somewhere at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Chief, you haven't.
Yes, Kent, I have.
Oh, no, Chief.
Now, Kent,
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Lois. Good to see you again.
That's right. You have been a stranger. Good work on that scoop clock.
Right.
Who helped you?
No one. I did it all with my little typewriter.
Will you two stop fencing with each other? We've got serious things to think of.
Serious? Lois, our good friend, Editor Perry White of the Daily Planet, has gone and done it again.
What do you mean?
You tell her, Chief. I can't.
Well, Lois, Dr. Leander Cameron, the celebrated ichthyologist and deep-sea diver.
You celebrated crackpot, you mean?
Now, Lois, I resent that.
All right. What about Dr. Cameron?
Well, you know, he's been after me for years to finance an undersea expedition to find the lost continent of Atlantis.
Yes?
Well,
Mr. White, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, no.
Now, don't you start. His arguments are perfectly logical.
Can I come in?
May I come in?
Yeah, may I come in?
Come in, Jim. All right.
Something wrong, Mr. White?
What do you mean?
Oh, that look on your face. You look kind of...
Yes, out with it.
Well, you look kind of silly.
What did you say?
He feels kind of silly, Jim. You see, he's just decided to finance another expedition.
Gee, that sounds swell.
An expedition to find the lost continent of Atlantis.
Well, gee...
An
expedition to be headed by Dr. Leander Cameron. Oh, no.
What? Well, what have you got to say about it, you office boy?
Sir, I'm a reporter now.
What?
He is, Chief, he is. In a sense, at any rate. You remember I tried to trick the Jap saboteurs into believing they had the wrong formula? Well, Jim was the one who phoned in that story, and he did a swell job on it, too.
Well, thanks, Mr. Kent.
Yes, he did do a good job. Matter of fact, I'm going to try him out on the story today.
You are?
Yes, Jim, and a very important job, too. If you succeed at it, well, there's no telling what heights you may reach as a reporter.
Oh, gosh. What's the story?
Well, the Tiny Tots Kindergarten are forming a club to be called the Don't Kick Grandmother When She's Down Club. You can cover it.
Oh, gee. Say, is this a gag?
Yes, it's a gag. And it's meant to give you a rough idea of what I think of you as a reporter.
Now, wait a minute, Chief. Wait a minute. After the job Jimmy's done, I don't think...
You're not paid to think about anything but your job. Yes, what is it? Huh? What? Oh, send him in. Well, he's here.
Who's here?
Dr. Cameron. Now, get this straight. Get this straight, all of you. I've promised to finance this expedition of his, and I'm not such a fool as I look.
Well...
What?
Oh, well...
You all think it's silly. Well, so will everyone else. And they'll follow the story in the Daily Planet just for laughs, if nothing more.
Hey, you got something there.
No, thanks. And if Dr. Cameron turns out to be correct...
He won't.
Don't be too sure.
Dr. Leander Cameron, sir.
Leander, come in.
My dear friend.
I think I must have fallen.
I think you must have collapsed.
No, I fell. My butterfly net caught on the knob of the door.
Wow. Just look at that pile of junk.
Well, Leander, I really don't know why you carry all that paraphernalia with you. What in the world do you need with a fire extinguisher?
Here, let me help you pick this stuff up.
Oh, thank you, sir. Laugh if you will, Terry, but my motto, like that of the Boy Scouts of America, is be prepared. Should there occur an unexpected fire, I'm ready for it. In this knapsack hanging over my left shoulder, I carry a kit of tools, wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, etc. You never know when something may need fixing in a hurry. In this knapsack over my right shoulder, I carry medicines, aspirin, ipecac, quinine, etc. Who knows but that some loved one may fall sick.
Yes, but why the pots and pans and cooking utensils?
Those I carry to keep myself fit for the trail. My work, as you must know, has led me into many strange parts of the world, places where stamina, the strength to carry on under great loads, is vital. Be prepared. That's my motto. There's nothing you could ask for that I do not carry on the person.
How about an ice cream soda, Doctor?
Jimmy.
Why not? I believe I have a small bottle of carbonated water somewhere, and I'm certainly capable of whipping together some ice cream with the chemicals I carry. What flavor?
Are you kidding? Gosh, I didn't think it could be done.
It can and shall be done. And while I'm concocting a delicious effervescent drink for the young man, perhaps, Perry, we can get down to the business at hand.
Huh? What? Oh, yes. Why not?
Mr. Kent and Miss Lane are to go along on the expedition?
They are.
Excellent. No doubt they've already informed you it is this silly venture.
Yes, they have.
Well, now, really, Dr. Cameron, the idea of a lost continent existing at the bottom of the Atlantic, a world filled with mammoth fish, sea serpents, and what have you, well, it is just fantastic.
To the untutored, unscientific mind such as your own, yes, but not to mine. Shall we make it a vanilla soda, Jimmy? I find I have some vanilla beans in the pack.
Yeah, sure.
What did I do with that folding cup? Oh, yes, here it is. Mr. Kent, Miss Lane, what do you know of the lost continent of Atlantis?
Very little, Doctor, except that it's a huge continent that once existed but is now at the bottom of the sea.
Then let me explain it to you. Atlantis is a so-called legendary island that was situated in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis had been a powerful kingdom 9,000 years before the birth of Solon. It is believed, or was believed, I should say, that due to sudden and catastrophic natural causes, the island one day sank into the sea, disappearing from view for the rest of time until the present day.
Gee, that's interesting.
I will not enter into the various scientific undersea explorations that have led me to believe that the continent of Atlantis actually exists, or you would never understand them. But it does. Of that I'm sure. And I want a chance to prove it. Not, mind you, for any gains that may accrue to myself, but for the sake of a wondrous idea that I have conceived that will change our modern conception of undersea warfare.
Undersea warfare? What do you mean?
Mr. Kent, think what it would mean to have a base at the bottom of the ocean for submarines.
What?
The plan may sound fantastic at first, but I've planned everything very carefully. Hundreds of submarines could be based there, serviced and refueled, and kept in perfect operating condition. Let me see. Oh, yes, the vanilla flavoring. Yes. Now then, let me see. Yes. I propose then, with the aid of Perry's money, to find this sunken continent.
Yes, all right. Now, just a minute, Doctor. Just a minute. How will you do it? After all, we are at war now, you know.
Yes.
Yes. The Atlantic is a sort of, shall we say, no man's land.
No man's land.
Yes, no man's land. Now, will we be permitted to take an expedition out into it? And suppose we do. This lost continent of Atlantis must lie at such a terrific depth that you'd never be able to reach it.
I will answer your questions one at a time. First, it is exactly because we are at war, exactly because the submarine base of which I speak would be so helpful, that we shall have no difficulty in securing permission to take an expedition into the Atlantic. In fact, I've already secured the necessary permission. As to the depth to which this lost continent lies, that too I've taken care of. So let me see. Where is that carbonated water? Oh, here it is.
Gosh, looks just like a vanilla ice cream soda.
Looks like a vanilla ice cream soda? It is a vanilla soda. I have, of course, used dry ice for freezing the ice cream. Oh, here, my boy. See if it's to your taste.
Oh, thanks. Say, it's swell. Well, will wonders never cease.
Tell me, Dr. Cameron, how do you expect to overcome the obstacle of depth? How will you manage to get down that deep into the Atlantic?
A simple matter. Dr. Leander Cameron's multi-depth submarine in bathysphere will take care of that.
Your what?
My multi-depth submarine in bathysphere. It's anchored in the harbor now. Would you care to see it? We can get down there in 15 minutes for taxi.
Well, what do you say? Shall we go down and see it?
Oh, sure, you bet.
All right, then I'll get my coat. Well, what about it, Kent? Shall we go with Dr. Cameron on his undersea expedition, huh?
What? You have the nerve to go, Clark. I guess I have. It's too exciting to miss.
Oh.
Dr. Cameron may be right. And to think of seeing with my own eyes a continent that existed over 9,000 years ago. Why, it's just wonderful. An undersea expedition. It's thrilling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. And, I'm game to try it.
Then I take it, Perry, we can consider the matter closed.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, you can.
We shall all leave in a day or two in my multi-depth submarine in bathysphere in search of the lost continent of Atlantis.
Well, this does sound exciting, doesn't it? Think of going in search of a lost continent that lies at the bottom of the ocean. And think of going on such a trip with such a strange character as Dr. Leander Cameron. Looks like there are plenty of thrills in store for us, so be sure to tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow The Adventures of Superman.
Fellas and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Of course, we can't all be members of Uncle Sam's armed forces because some of us are too young or too old. But that doesn't mean we can't get into this fight. No, sir. Because there is one big important thing we can do. We've got to see that our fighters are supplied with all the bullets and guns and tanks and ships and planes they need to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of the earth. How? Simply by buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. Because every time we buy a war-saving stamp or bond, we lend our government money with which to finance our fight. So remember, talk with Mother and Dad tonight about giving you an extra dime every day or every other day for war-saving stamps. Talk about it with all your friends. Get them to make a pledge with you to buy war-saving stamps regularly.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky!
It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his fair hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, every day the city, state, and national offices of civilian defense organizations are swamped with letters from young people like yourselves. And most of these letters ask, what can I do, what part can I take in the national war effort? The writers of these letters are all too young to join the United States Armed Forces, too young to join any of the numerous home defense groups. And yet they ask, isn't there something we can do? Some of you listening now are no doubt among those who have written these letters. And I'll bet many of you who have not written have thought the same thing. Well, the answer is a very simple one, and here it is. You can do your part in civilian defense. You can help to win this war by buying war-saving stamps regularly. How does that help, you ask? How can my dime, or 20, or 40, or 50 cents help to win this war? That's easy, too. For instance, your dime, just 10 cents, will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets that can be used by our soldiers, sailors, or Marines to knock 5 Japs or 5 Nazis out of commission. And believe me, it's going to take a lot of those bullets to knock them all out and win the war. Another thing, 50 cents, which represents 5 10-cent or 2 25-cent war-saving stamps, will buy enough fuel oil to bring one of our destroyers a full mile closer to the Jap fleet in the Solomon Islands. And you know what happens when our Navy gets close enough to turn on the heat. And here's one more thing for you to think over. If every fellow and girl in the United States bought at least 5 10-cent war-saving stamps every day, the amount of money they'd lend to the government would buy enough fighter planes and bombers to blast Hitler's Luftwaffe right out of the air. So remember that each and every dime is important. That buying war-saving stamps is a very important way to help win the war. So why not pledge today to buy war-saving stamps regularly? And keep in mind this slogan. Every time you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp.
And now, the adventures of Superman. A great adventure is in store for all our friends. In our last episode, we heard how Editor Perry White had decided to finance an expedition in search of the lost continent of Atlantis, believed to be lying below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. As we take up our story today, the time is several days later. The place, a private stretch of beach some short distance outside Metropolis. The cold, heavy mist of early dawn hangs low over the water, and through it we can just make out the long gray lines of a submarine lying offshore. Standing on the beach, dimly seen through the gray smoke of dawn, stand 4 people: Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Editor Perry White, and Jimmy Olsen. Listen.
Hey, look out. That surf is running pretty high up onto the beach.
Yes, I just escaped getting my feet wet that time.
Well, let's move up the beach a bit. Tide's coming in fast.
Golly, it's cold, too. When are we going aboard the submarine?
We're going to be inside that submarine for a long time once we get started. Besides, we've got to wait till Dr. Cameron arrives.
Well, I can stand it if the rest of you can.
It's amazing. Simply amazing.
What's amazing, Lois?
Well, I keep thinking it was only a few days ago that we were discussing this fantastic expedition in your office, trying to decide if we'd even go along. Now, here we are. There's Dr. Cameron's multi-depth submarine and bathysphere, or whatever you call it, waiting for us offshore, filled with food and supplies for months, all sorts of scientific paraphernalia, everything.
That's Leander Cameron for you. He may look like a crackpot and act like one, but by golly, he lives up to that motto of his, be prepared. The minute you said we'd go, he told us he'd arranged for everything. Yes. We'd have everything aboard in less than 24 hours. All he needed was the money to pay for it. I only hope it's worth the money. Even if we don't find the lost continent of Atlantis...
What do you mean, even? You don't really expect to find it, do you?
Well, I say even if we don't find it, people will read the stories in the Daily Planet just for laughs. And I don't care why they buy the paper, just so they buy it.
Gosh, I wish we hadn't let that taxi go.
Why?
Well, we could have sat in that till the doctor got here.
Well, if you really want to learn to be a reporter, Jim, you'll have to learn to take it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Now, understand, young man, we don't want any trouble from you.
The only reason your school principal permitted you to come along was because of the expedition's great educational value. Any monkey shines out of you, though, wait a minute. What's that?
Someone or something is coming.
Judging from the racket, it's Dr. Cameron. I've never heard a man make so much noise in my life.
Wait, that's not Leander. It's something approaching on a motorcycle.
It doesn't look human. Looks like some strange creature out of a nightmare. Clark, what is it?
Well, it must be Dr. Cameron.
It just can't be. I tell you, the thing riding on that motorcycle isn't human.
Oh, it's human, all right, only it's wearing a diving outfit. Suit, helmet, the works.
What?
You mean to say that's Dr. Leander Cameron arriving on a motorcycle in a diving suit?
Well, now, how did you expect him to arrive? In a taxi in civilian clothes? No, that'd be much too normal and ordinary for Dr. Cameron.
Holy mackerel, look. He's weaving all over the beach on this thing. We better get to a safe place before we'll run down.
You're right. He's coming straight for us.
No, wait. He's veering off. Oh, boy, that was close.
Close? Nothing. Look at me. I'm covered with wet sand from head to foot.
Me too. He's swinging around, heading this way. Here he comes again. Look out.
Daddy, stop that thing.
Stop it. Why, he can't even steer it. Doctor, isn't it?
Look out. He's going to fall.
Oh, great Scott, he's been killed. I know he's been killed.
Oh, dear.
Here, we got to get that helmet off him.
I'll help.
Easy, Jim, easy.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
help me. Oh, the poor man.
Now, hold on to yourself, Lois. All right, now, Jim, lift the helmet off. Sit.
Good morning.
What? Oh, good morning. You made it, I see.
Yes, always do. Never say die. Be prepared. That's my motto. Somebody help me collect my gear and scientific paraphernalia.
Leander, now, for the love of Pete, will you tell me why you're wearing a diving suit and helmet?
Oh, for convenience sake, convenience sake.
Convenience?
Yes, you see, just as I was leaving my house to come here, I remembered I had not packed my diving outfit. One can't go on a diving expedition without a diving suit, can one? We shall need it before we're through.
Yes, but if you'd only tell
I was
why...
forced to bring it along, and since I was carrying my usual accoutrement, there was only one way to carry the suit. I wore it.
Boy, you've got a reason for everything. Here we've been freezing to death waiting for you.
Yes, it is a cold morning, isn't it? Always colder near the water, too. A cup of coffee, anyone?
What? Don't tell me you've got a thermos of coffee with you.
No, but what is there to prevent our making some?
Well, you made an ice cream soda for Jimmy the other day, but now don't tell me you're going to whip together some coffee for us now.
With rationing upon us?
What is rationing to a scientist? A few chemicals tossed lightly together and presto, coffee, a cream of sugar.
There'll be no coffee, Leander, till we go aboard and get started. The boat's waiting at the edge of the beach to take us out to the sub. Come on now, let's go.
The crew already aboard?
Yeah, what there is of them. 3 men to run the submarine. How do you expect to do it?
The Cameron multi-depth submarine in bathysphere is mine own, Perry. Leave the running of it to me.
All right, you run it.
Oh, golly, let's go. Wait a minute. Dr. Cameron, what are you going to do with that motorcycle?
Take it aboard with me, of course.
What? The submarine is so full now, I'm wondering if we'll be able to come to the surface once we submerge. No room for the motorcycle.
No room?
No.
No room? Of course there's room. I've arranged for everything. A place for everything, and everything in its place, I always say.
Yes, and I always agree. But how are you going to get that motorcycle stowed aboard the sub?
I will show you. You see, I myself constructed this motorcycle. It is very light, made of plastic, you know, and it's collapsible.
It's what?
The frame, collapsible, the frame folds together so. Then the wheels themselves telescope so, becoming an 8 their former size. There. Ever see a small package in your life?
Oh, Doctor, you amaze me. You're simply astounding.
I often think so myself, Miss Lane. Well, if we're ready to go aboard, you're Xing away, says I. Stand away.
Boy, I'll sure be glad to get out of this cold. Let's go.
Well, come on, everyone. Let's get down to that dinghy and row out to the sub. Before we get started.
Right you are, Perry. We must lose no time in reaching the lost continent of the planet.
Doctor, we've been in this multi-jet submarine of yours for 8 hours, and we haven't submerged yet. We keep running on the surface. Golly, I was all excited about going beneath the surface in a submarine.
Rather distressing if you went below the surface without a submarine. A joke.
Yes.
Are you kidding? Jimmy just meant that he's been looking forward to diving in a real submarine, Doctor, and so far the thrill hasn't materialized.
Well, why don't we submerge, Leander? It seems to me we're using a good deal of oil for those diesels.
We have sufficient for our running schedule. I do not need to say, Perry, that I shouldn't needlessly use oil in these perilous times. Oil is ammunition. However, we must save our batteries and electric motors for underwater use as much as we can.
I see what you mean, Doctor. You're referring to the time when we'll be doing a good deal of diving to reach the lost continent of Atlantis.
Exactly. Now, it seems to me that... Yes, Nicodemus?
Excuse me, folks. Doc.
I've already said yes, Nicodemus. However, I will repeat it. Yes, Nicodemus.
You needn't be sarcastic about it.
I wasn't being sarcastic. I merely said...
Sometimes the way you talk, you think I wasn't wanted around here.
Nicodemus, you're too sensitive. All I said
I know what you said. Well, let it pass. I came to report the batteries are fully charged. I think we ought to submerge for maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Everything in working order?
Would I be submerging if it wasn't?
All right. Don't fly off the handle. Go ahead and submerge.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
God, does he go around with a chip on his shoulder all the time?
Oh, wonderful man, Nicodemus. Wonderful. Best man possible on a submarine. Just one little trouble with him. He's sensitive.
Are we going to submerge?
Yes, my boy. Last, you're going to have your great thrill. Here, you can watch through this porthole over here as we go below the surface.
Golly.
There's the signal now to stop the diesels and turn on the electric motors.
Golly. Look, everybody. The water's coming up over the window. We're submerging. It's exciting, isn't it?
Well, I've done it before, but it never fails to thrill me.
Now, we won't go far below the surface since there's no need for it. We merely want to change from diesel power to electric, that's all.
Well, even so, just going below the surface is thrilling enough.
We're under. Look. Everything's green. A sort of light green that's getting darker.
Yes, the deeper we go, the darker it'll get, of course.
Well, how long can we stay under, Leander?
Well, Perry, the ordinary submarine running at from 1 to 1.5 knots can remain below the surface for 30 hours. We can remain below in the Cameron multi-depth submarine in bathysphere for 37 hours.
Seems to me the government would be interested in a submarine like this.
Oh, they are, Miss Lane. They've already made certain tests. What's that?
I don't know. I can't imagine it.
Well, it would appear there's trouble afoot, or should I say underwater.
Never mind how you say it. Come on.
Golly. What could have happened?
I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
Nicodemus! What has happened?
I don't know, Doc. Something's gone wrong with the main ballast tanks. I can't close them.
You can't close
Wait,
them?
heavens, man. Doesn't that mean...
It means we're going down fast. There ain't a thing I can do about
If
it.
there's something wrong with the motor, surely you can fix them.
No, it's not the motor, Smith. Something's jammed inside the main ballast tank, which means we can't control the intake or the outlet of water.
Golly.
But you've got to do something, man.
There's nothing I can do. Nothing nobody can do.
Oh, golly. If only Superman were here now.
What could he do?
Well, he could take us back to the surface. He could... Holy mackerel. No, he couldn't. He'd be inside here with us. And to lift the submarine to the surface, he'd have to be on the outside. And how could he get out without letting the water in the air?
Exactly what I've been thinking myself.
Helpless, Superman in his guise of Clark Kent stands by with his friends while the submarine drops lower and lower through the ocean depths. Seemingly, there is nothing he can do, and yet, well, perhaps we can leave it to Superman to figure a way out. So be sure to be with us Monday and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman. Well, there goes Superman until Monday. Meanwhile, don't let the weekend go by without buying your share of war-saving stamps. And remember what I told you at the beginning of this program, you fellows and girls who are too young to join the armed forces or any of the national defense organizations. You can do your part. You can help win this war by buying war-saving stamps. So let's make a pledge right now to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Talk it over tonight with Mother and Dad. Ask them to give you a dime every day or even every other day for war-saving stamps. And then buy some extra ones out of your regular weekly allowance. And see if you can get your friends to buy stamps regularly, too. Or why not organize a war-saving stamp club right in your neighborhood? And make this your club slogan. Every time that you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. In a small concrete structure carefully isolated from the other buildings on the campus of Space Academy, the Polaris unit attends its daily lecture, Astrophysics. Wearing protective coveralls and gloves, the three cadets stand attentively around a large laboratory table as young, attractive Dr. Joan Dale, one of the leading Academy physicists, indicates a sample specimen of ore in a small lead-lined case.
This ore, cadets, is extremely rare. It's only found in any appreciable quantity on 2 asteroids in the asteroid belt, 2046 and 2049. This sample came from our mining camp on 2049.
Is this ore good for anything, Dr. Dale?
Well, we're not sure yet, Cadet Corbett. It's still in its testing stage. So far, we found it has a small degree of radioactivity.
Hey, then maybe it could be used as a fuel for rocket ships.
Perhaps, but certainly not in its present state, Cadet Astro. It would take several tons of ore to reach a critical mass strong enough to produce power and usable energy. Now, any more questions? All right, then, we'll proceed with your test assignment. You understand what you're to do?
Yes, ma'am. Analyze this specimen, giving content and volume of every element included.
And measure the energy potential.
Right. Use reaction chamber 2. Number 1 hasn't been cleaned since the last experiment.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have 15 minutes, cadets. Work fast, but be as thorough as you can. Oh, be sure to keep your gloves on when you handle the ore sample, and don't forget to use the Geiger counter. I'll be back in exactly 15 minutes.
Oh, brother, this is what I call a real dog detail. Playing around with a crummy hunk of rock. We'll get a real dog rating if we don't finish this experiment in time, Roger.
Yeah, hotshot. Get that reaction chamber heated up.
Okay. Astro, you take this piece of ore and start analyzing it. Roger and I'll handle the reaction chamber.
Check.
Okay, Tom. Chamber's ready. Now, hand me a container. Here. Okay, open the lock. Shove it in. Closer. Oh, and don't forget the Geiger counter.
Sure. What do you think I am, a primary student? If you study hard enough, you might make it, Roger.
That's enough out of you, Rockethead. Okay, counter's on.
How you doing, Astro? This won't take long, Tom. We ought to finish the experiment in plenty of time.
Yeah, if you don't mess it up.
Me? Why, you overblown bag of space.
Hey, wait a minute, fellas. The Geiger counter. Listen to it.
Hey, jumping Jupiter, it's going crazy.
I don't get it. Dr. Dale said it would take tons of this stuff to reach critical mass. That hunk we put in the reaction chamber is no bigger than my fist.
Hey, wait a minute. You put it in chamber 1.
Well, sure.
You big jerk. Dr. Dale said to use chamber 2. Number 1 wasn't cleaned out, so the ore is combining with whatever was left in there.
Oh, quick, we've got to stop it.
Too late. Don't go near it, Tom. There's a baby A-bomb cooking up in there.
Well, let's get out of here.
Come on, Tom. She'll blow any second.
Hit that outer door. Quick, Astro.
Right.
Go on, fellas. Outside. Now hit the deck fast. She's going to blow.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, one of the most interesting places here at Space Academy is the Spaceport Communication Center. Now, today we're going in there for a look around and see just how they operate. Here we are, Spaceman. You know, this communication center is in operation 24 hours a day, keeping a check on all space traffic and land-to-space communication. Now, come into this room. Okay? Well, now, here's the telerecorder. Dr. Dale recorded a message to be sent to all boys and girls in all planet colonies. I'll play it for you.
Here's an important reminder to all spacemen and space girls, too. Be sure you're getting enough vitamins. Eat the right foods that give you those vitamins. At breakfast, you can get the whole day supply of vitamin D and a valuable amount of vitamin B1 by eating Kellogg's Pep. And when you eat Pep, you're giving yourself the kind of food values that help you do things better. That goes for play, school, work, and sports. So remember, for a good supply of important vitamins and a really enjoyable way to start this day, help yourself to Kellogg's Pep. End transmission.
Well, spacemen, you learned two important things today. You learned about communications, and you heard about the best breakfast cereal in the universe. So don't forget now, ask Mom for Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Conducting a routine experiment in the physics laboratory, Roger makes a careless mistake and an explosion results. A blast that wrecks the interior of the lab. But the cadets manage to escape unhurt. Now, an hour later, we find them being interrogated by Dr. Dale in her office.
Well, Cadet, you certainly succeeded in making a complicated mess out of a simple experiment.
We're awfully sorry, ma'am.
Knock it off, Tom. This is my party.
Huh?
It's my fault, Dr. Dale. I put the ore sample in the wrong reaction
Oh,
chamber.
you did it. I might have known. Well, Cadet Manning, I don't know whether to log you for it or recommend you for a medal.
Huh?
Your mistake has opened the way for entirely new experiments in freeing the energy potential of the ore. It was a combination of that sample with the residue of a previous experiment that produced the reaction.
Then you think the ore can be used as a fuel?
If we can find the right combination of materials to go with it. Cadet Manning, you're detached from duty with the Polaris unit.
But, Dr.
I'm going to Asteroid 2049 to conduct further experiments with this ore, and I'll need an astrogator and an assistant. You can consider this assignment your reward for your mistake or your punishment.
Oh, brother, this is a reward.
Well, I hope you'll think so after we're finished. Be ready to blast off in Rocket Scout 9J in 1 hour.
By the rings of Saturn. I never thought I'd say this, Tom, but I'm beginning to miss Roger.
Well, strangely enough, I feel the same way, Astro.
Funny. And I thought a few days without him would be a real vacation. I wonder when he'll be back.
I wonder if we'll be here when he gets back. Captain Strong sounded kind of excited when he called us.
You think he's got a special assignment for us?
We'll find out in a minute. Here's his office. Cadets Corbett and Astro reporting, sir.
Stand easy, cadets. Be with you in a second. All right, Courtney. Now, give me the rest of those figures on the course of the 9J. Uh-huh.
9J? Tom, wasn't that the rocket scout Dr. Dale used to go to Asteroid 2049?
Yes. I wonder what's up.
Great galaxy. I hope nothing's wrong.
All right. Got it, Courtney. But if there's any further word from Mason on the asteroid, let me know.
Captain Strong, is there anything wrong? I mean, well, we couldn't help overhearing you mention the 9J. And we know Roger and Dr. Dale used that ship.
I'm sorry to have to break it to you like this, boys, but the 9J is missing.
Missing? But how could...
We don't know yet. We've tracked the scout as far as the asteroid belt, right to number 2049, as a matter of fact. But Greg Mason, the chief engineer of the mining station there, said they never arrived.
Did any of our space stations pick up a distress call?
No, nothing but routine position reports. Apparently everything was going smoothly until the scout entered the asteroid belt.
Then what happened to them?
That's what we're going to find out. Prepare the Polaris for immediate blastoff. We're going to search for the 9J, and we're starting at asteroid 2049. All right, Astro. Stand by for landing.
We get a good view of the asteroid from up here, Captain Strong.
And we'll set the ship down close to the mining camp, Tom.
I've got the spot all picked out, sir.
The control deck to power deck. Braking rocket, 1/4.
Aye, sir. Braking rockets, 1/4.
The gravitational pull of this asteroid is only 0.006. Now, we can touch down without any further braking.
The altitude, 1,000 feet, sir.
Stand by for touchdown.
Aye, sir.
Power deck, cut rocket.
Here we go, sir. Touchdown!
We're in. All right, boys. Pick your ship. First, we'll have a talk with Mason, and then start tracking the 9J.
Captain Strong, do you mean to tell me the 9J is still unreported?
We haven't heard a word from them, Mason. We checked Dr. Dale's course, and it appears she came straight here.
I don't understand it. We've seen no sign of her or the ship.
Are you sure your radar is in good working order?
Of course. We picked up your ship an hour ago. I'm positive the rocket scout couldn't have come within 1,000 miles of us. Have you tried to raise them on your teleceiver?
Oh, at least 100 times.
Well, I'm afraid it's only too obvious what's happened, Captain Strong.
You mean you think the scout was hit by a meteorite?
Well, this part of space is full of them. One slight defect in the ship's radar gear or a miscalculation by the astrogator and, well, there wouldn't be much left.
Maybe you're right, Mason. But we won't assume anything until we're sure.
But what can you do, Strong?
Search this entire area.
But that would be like looking for a speck of meteor dust in the Milky Way. It would take weeks, months.
I don't care how long it takes. We're going to keep at it until we find some sign of that ship. Anything on the radar screen yet, Tom?
I'm afraid not, Captain Strong. Not since we made contact with that swarm of meteorites.
Oh, it's beginning to look hopeless, Tom. We've covered an immense area. If the rocket scout hit anything while they were on course, we'd have found at least a trace of wreckage by this time.
Wait, sir. I'm picking up something on the radar again.
Probably some more meteorites.
No! We're getting a fix on a sizable mass. This could be it, sir.
Well, how big is the mass?
Checking now, sir. About the size of a rocket scout. We found her. And look at my screen. The signal is getting in clearer now.
I'll plot an orbit to intercept her. We should be able to overhaul her within an hour.
I'll try to raise them on the audio, sir.
Right. Hello, radar bridge to power deck. Check in.
Power deck, aye.
We're changing course, Astro. I want you to stand by for maximum velocity.
Right, sir. I'll give you all the speed you want. Have you found something?
I hope so. At least it checks for mass with the scouts. So get to work now. Hit those rockets.
Radar bridge to control deck. We're closing in on the scout, Captain Strong, almost within visual range.
Good. Cut off the radar and turn on the forward scanner. Take a speed out here.
Aye, aye, sir. There she is, sir. It's the 9J, all right.
No sign of damage to the ship.
No, sir. She seems to be holding course under full control.
Try audio contact now.
Aye, sir. Polaris calling Rocket Scout 9J. Polaris calling Rocket Scout 9J. Acknowledge. Can you read us? Acknowledge, 9J. This is the Polaris. Blasted. Hello, Captain Strong. Still no answer.
All right. Secure the radar bridge and report to the main airlock in full space gear. I want you and Astro to board that ship fast.
Okay, Tom. We're aboard the Rocket Scout. What now? Well, first let's take these helmets off. Air pressure and oxygen level in here is okay. I just checked. Right. That's better. Tom, this ship is quiet as a grave. What could be wrong?
Hello, Tom. Check in.
Hold it, Astro. Skipper's calling us on our communicators. Go ahead, Captain Strong.
How are you doing?
Well, just got aboard, sir.
Any sign of Dr. Dale or Roger?
Not yet, sir. Astro and I are just starting to look around.
Right. Check the radar bridge first and keep your communicators open. Maintain contact with me.
Right, sir. Okay, Astro, let's go. Jumping Jupiter. There's something about this ship that makes my flesh crawl. So it, Astro. Get up that ladder. There's nobody up here on the radar bridge, Tom. Okay, come on down. We'll check the controls. Everything's in order. Set on automatic course. Hey, this is strange. Find something, Tom? No, nothing. That's just it. The logbook is supposed to be in this desk drawer, and it isn't here. Maybe they abandoned ship and took the log with them. Well, come on. Let's have a look in the spacesuit locker. Oh, there it is, over there. Well, go on. Open it up. Hey, look, Tom. Why, their spacesuits are still in the locker. This is Dr. Dale's, and here's Roger. Here's the emergency suit.
Boys, did I hear you right? They couldn't abandon ship without their spacesuits.
I know it, Captain Strong. That's just what we're trying to figure out.
Well, go on with the search. Take your time. Do a thorough job. Joan and Roger must still be aboard.
We'll try below, sir. We may find something on the power deck. Go ahead down, Tom. Oh, there's certainly no sign of a fight anywhere. Everything is in shipshape order. Yeah, that's what makes it so creepy. Hey, there's the weapons locker, Astro. Let's check that. Good idea. Well, I give up. There's not a thing missing.
Well, that means the ship couldn't have been attacked.
If it was, Roger certainly would have reached the weapons at least.
Well, I'll take a look at the power unit, Tom.
All right.
Hello, Tom. Can't you find anything at all to indicate what happened?
Well, no, Captain Strong. The ship's in perfect running order, holding a preset orbit. Everything's routine, except for the fact that Roger and Dr. Dale are missing. Just a minute, sir. I think Astro's found something.
The reactor pile. Somebody's removed the damping rods.
What?
It's too late to replace them. The rocket head temperatures are way over the danger mark. This ship is going to explode.
Are you sure, Astro?
Suffering Martian mice. Of course I'm sure. We've got to get off this death heap fast.
Well, come on, then.
Step on it, boys. Use the emergency airlock.
That's where we're headed, sir.
Here we are.
Okay, Astro, now put your helmet on and get that outer door open quick. I'll equalize pressure.
Never mind the pressure. There's only a 14-pound difference. We can stand that. Help me pull the door open.
I'll try it. Come on now. Put your helmet on.
Okay.
Hey, this isn't going to be easy. Shouldn't be that hard. Let me get at it. Well, come on. Hey, there's something wrong here. I'll say the door's jammed. It can't be. Pull! No, Houston won't budge. We're trapped in here, Astro.
Astro, try the emergency release.
I'm trying it, sir, but it's no good.
Captain Strong, cast off with the Polaris, sir. Hurry.
I'll try to reach you from the outside.
No use, sir. It's the inside lock that's jammed. Please, sir, get the Polaris out of here. This ship is doomed. In a minute, we'll be blown to space dust.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by. Say, Spaceman, have you got your share of Magic Eyes yet? Well, if you haven't, you'd better get going. Your Magic Eye is waiting for you right this minute down at the grocery store, inside every package of Kellogg's Pep. Now, on those Magic Eyes, you can see Bill Holden and Bob Hope of Paramount Pictures, sports stars like Bobby Riggs, and circus greats like Clyde Beatty, the Lion Tamer. And listen, every Magic Eye picture shows you plenty of action. 16 different action subjects. Collect them all. You know, it's easy to get Magic Eyes. Nothing to mail in and no waiting, because you get a Magic Eye free at no extra cost in every package of Kellogg's Pep. Now, think of it. Just get a package of Kellogg's Pep and you get a Magic Eye at the same time. Be the first in your neighborhood to collect all 16 Magic Eyes. If you get 2 of a kind, trade for one you haven't got. But just remember, you keep adding to your collection every time you get Kellogg's Pep. You get loads of swell eating, too, because those golden whole wheat flakes make the best tasting cereal you ever had. Just remember now, ask Mom to buy Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. When the crew of the Polaris locates the rocket scout 9J in which Dr. Dale and Roger Manning have been missing in space, they find it completely deserted. During their search, Tom and Astro discover the damping rods missing from the atomic reactor motors and realize the ship will explode any minute. In a desperate race against death, they try to reach the safety of the Polaris, but they are trapped in the airlock of the rocket scout by a jammed door. On the Polaris, Captain Strong hears Tom's report.
Hello, Captain Strong. You've got to get the Polaris away. There's nothing you can do to help us. We'll keep trying to find a way out of here ourselves. Tom's right, Captain Strong. You can't risk the Polaris.
All right, men. Listen. I'll move the ship off about 1,000 yards. That should be far enough to escape the blast. When you can get out, push yourselves off into space, and I'll pick you up. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, but so far we're not having any luck forcing this door.
What about the emergency toolkit?
Why, that would be in one of the desk lockers, I suppose. But we never have time to get back.
Tom, listen. That model ship has a small tool compartment in the inside bulkhead of the airlock, and there's sure to be a cutting torch in the kit.
Did you hear that, Astro? Yes, I'll look for it.
If the torch is there, you should be able to cut around that catch lock in a matter of seconds.
Skipper was right, Tom. Here's the torch. Fire it up. Quick, here we go. Stand away from that lock, Tom.
Work fast, Astro.
He's doing fine, Captain. Hey, Tom, the catch is beginning to give. A little more to the left now. Oh, that did it. Pull the door open now. Hey, Captain Strong, did you hear that? We're shoving off into space. Stand by to pick us up.
Get moving. I'm ready.
All right, Astro. The door's open. Now shove off into space as hard as you can push. Here goes! Hammer at your heels!
Take it easy, Tom.
Captain Strong, what happened? Explosion.
You're all right, Tom.
So is Astro. You cleared the ship just as she exploded. The blast hurled you both out into space like a couple of rockets. I had to use radar to find you.
Well, the force of the blast must have knocked us out. Gosh, I'm still a little dizzy.
You'll be all right now, Tom. How are you making out, Astro?
Oh, fine, sir. I must have been a little farther from the ship when she blew.
Thank the universe you were both far enough.
But, sir, we're no closer to a solution to this mystery than we were before.
You're sure there wasn't a single clue on that ship to indicate what could have happened to Joan and Roger?
No, sir. Nothing at all. You should have seen it. Captain Strong, it was weird.
Enough to give you the creeps, sir. A completely deserted ship and yet no signs of a fight or anything.
Well, they couldn't have gotten off alive without their spacesuits.
Hey, did you leave the radio open, sir? That sounds like some kind of static or interference.
That's funny. There shouldn't be any static in this area.
Well, I'll check it, sir. Hello? Hello, this is the Polaris. Hello. Come in, please.
Listen, that sounds like Joan.
Dr. Dale, is that you? This is Tom Corbett on the Polaris.
Tom, can you read me?
Well, just barely. Can't you step up power?
No, listen carefully.
Joan, this is Steve. Are you all right?
Steve, so far, but listen.
Go ahead, Dr. Dale.
Roger and I are on Asteroid 2049. Can you hear that?
Yes, on 2049. Go ahead.
We're in danger, great danger. Get here as quickly as you can.
Hey, she stopped transmitting. Yeah, but did you hear what she said, sir?
I heard it. Man your stations, cadets. Set course full space speed for Asteroid 2049.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the crew of the Polaris attempts a dangerous rescue in space in Part 2 of The Asteroid of Danger. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Al Markham, Jan Merlin, Edward Bryce, and Margaret Garland. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun and directed by Drex Himes. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
this is ABC, the American Broadcasting.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Adrift in a native canoe somewhere off the Solomon Islands. Ahead of you lie the unknown terrors of native savagery. And closing in on you is a white man whose gunboat will smash you to the bottom of the sea.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Russell's story, The Price of the Head.
The possessions of Mr. Christopher Pellet were these: a bad name in the island, a suit of ducks in which he lived and slept, a continuous thirst for liquor, and a set of fine red whiskers. And strangely enough, he had a friend, Karaki. Now, no man can gain friendship except by virtue of some decent quality attaching to him, and Pellet had none. How then explain the loving devotion lavished upon that drunken brute by the gentle native? This was the mystery at Fuputi. But mystery or no, Pellet himself became unendurable to the decent, peaceable folk of the town.
Next shot's gonna kill you, Pellet. So help me, I'd put a bullet in your drunken brains. Get out.
All right, I'm going. In the Silver Isles there lived a wench whose eyes were blue and nose was... Hey, Mummery! You missed the fun, Mummery. Mummery.
Take your hands off me, Mr. Pellet. You're an offense, sir.
You're an offense, sir. Karaki! Where is that boy?
One day Mr. Howe may be obliged to shoot you.
Hey, shoot me, that'd be murder. Murder's fine talk for a company agent, Mr. Mummery. Where's that boy? Karaki! Come here, Karaki!
Karaki, come quick. Here's shot. You all right? No hit pellet anywhere?
No, I'm fine, Karaki, fine. Go fetch one bottle of rum. You come along home, huh?
Me go along, Mr. Howe. Pay for trouble. Catch a bottle. Wait here. Me no be much long. You wait.
Fine fellow, that Karaki, eh, Mummery? Only friend I got in this filthy island.
May I suggest, Mr. Pellet, that perhaps if you behave...
Suggest nothing. I got a headache. You tell Karaki I've gone to the beach, huh? In the Silver Isles there lived a wench whose eyes were blue.
All right, Karaki. He'll pay for this mess, but next time he blows up, I'll put a bullet in his leg.
No, Mr. Howe. No shoot. Karaki all time. Pay good.
Well, Mr. Mummery. Beat it, Karaki.
I'd like a chat with you, Mr. Howe.
Right with you, sir. Boy, Jack, give Karaki a bottle of rum and get this mess cleaned up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Howe.
Come into the office, Mr. Mummery. We're more cozy there. That fellow ought to be in jail. The man's a mad beast.
He is, and particularly so on your rum, Mr. Howe.
Oh, come now, Mr. Mummery. You can't lay Pellet's sins on my doorstep. Nothing I can do, as long as he pays his bills.
Well, I'm a fair man, Mr. Howe, and I won't order you to stop selling Pellet your rum if there's any other way to handle the matter.
Well, to be honest with you, sir, I do make a small profit on Karaki's pearls, what he pays me with. Though nothing enormous, mind you. Still, I'd do without it not to have Pellet about. When I walk down the street, I have a feeling the natives are laughing at me just because I'm a white man, too.
By heavens, it's true. And something must be done at once.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Howe, I'll try talking to him like a gentleman, but I'll be firm with him. Now, if you'll send Moy Jack with a message that I'd like to have him for tea tomorrow...
Tea? You don't mind my saying so, Mr. Mummery. Tea isn't...
All right, then. Tell him there'll be whiskey.
That'll do it, sir. And good luck with him.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Tagara, whiskey for Mr. Pellet, girl.
It's been years since my throat's been wet by good Scotch whiskey, Mummery.
Yes, I'm sure.
You live well here. Fine house, good liquor, servants.
I work hard, Mr. Pellet, and I stay sober.
Should have been a preacher, Mummery. You missed your line in Copra.
No, if you please, Mr. Pellet, we are not discussing my career.
No, well, go on, Mummery. As long as I'm drinking your whiskey, I'll listen to your chatter. Girl?
You make it difficult, Mr. Pellet.
I mean to.
Yes, I suppose you do.
I didn't expect you'd invited me here out of friendliness, Mummy.
But you could have friends, Mr. Pellet, if you lived decently.
I live the way I want, and I got a friend.
A savage.
It's odd. Never thought of Karaki as a savage. I suppose he is.
Yes, civilization lies lightly on these people, Mr. Pellet. At heart, Karaki is nothing but a heathen from Bougainville.
Bougainville. Yeah, you know Karaki likes it there, so I was talking about it. Well, you must probably talk about your home.
But there is a vast difference, I'm sure.
Karaki's quite a serious little man. You just haven't got to know him, that's all.
Well, we'd scarcely find much in common, I fear. Good heavens, Mr. Pellet, surely you haven't sunk so low as to have forgotten everything we stand for out here?
I've no use for any man, except Karaki. He's the only friend I ever had.
But how do you know what is going on in that head of his? How can you tell?
I don't have to. So far, he's treated me right, you know.
But you have no respect for the position the rest of us here must maintain. You disgrace us in the eyes of every native on this island.
I'm impressed. Didn't know I was that important a figure, Mummy. Tagara, whatever your name is.
You're beyond reasoning with Mr. Pellet.
You can go on trying, Mummy, as long as the whiskey holds, huh?
Have you no pride, man?
I cleaned out a bar in Sydney once, alone, against 9 sailors.
No, that's not exactly.
I engineered a mutiny aboard an Arab dhow in the Gulf of Oman some years back. I sold a cargo at Bahrain for a pretty figure, Mummy, pretty figure.
Well, that's certainly compounding a crime.
That cargo was illegal in the first place, Mummy. Slaves it was. Little boys and girls from India.
Mr. Pellet, I must ask you once and for
The
all.
bottle's almost finished, Mummy. What do you want?
Will you take a job if I offer you one?
A job? Mummy, I stopped working 9 years ago. I'm against working.
All right. Then I must ask you to leave this island on the next boat.
I like it here, Mummy, and I'm staying here.
Well, I can't make you go, I suppose.
You suppose right.
But I do have certain powers. The company controls the sale of liquor here, Mr. Pellet, and if I order that none be given you...
You'd do that?
I would.
Unless I take a job of leaves, huh?
Exactly.
Well, I'm not working. I'm not leaving, Mummy.
Then you won't be boozing either, Mr. Pellet.
Give me the rest of that bottle, girl. I've earned it.
Good day, Mr. Pellet.
That night, the order went out to serve Pellet no more rum. However, the alcohol he had taken on at the agent's house saw him through until noon the next day. He awoke then with a terrible thirst, and by evening he was raging. You cannot cut off alcohol from a man who has been continuously drunk for 9 years without results more or less violent. Karaki, with the patience of a saint, bore the brunt of it all. Karaki, the little heathen from Bougainville, a place where some people were smoked and others eaten. It took 2 days of awful torture to break Pellet's spirit, and on the morning of the 3rd, the man was shattered.
Feel much better today, no?
No, Karaki, it gets worse.
Karaki pulled bus from ocean last night. You want to fight big fella shark. Drink blood, you say.
It's out of my head, clean out of my head.
2-3 weeks, you'll be fine once more, my word.
I can't wait 2-3 weeks. I gotta have a drink, Karaki. I die if I don't get a drink.
Wait a few days. All fine.
You don't understand, Karaki. I can't make it. Go tell Mummy I can't make it. Tell him I'll leave on the next ship.
No, can't leave. We plenty much all the time. Good friend, Karaki, and tell her.
I know, but I'm no good dead, Karaki. You go tell him now.
No, can't leave. Wait.
You tell him or I'll tell him, Karaki, but I'll have a bottle if I have to kill to get it.
Not now. Slip a long couple hours. Then go, maybe.
No, now. I'd rather go myself.
No, please.
Karaki, let go of me. Go out. Smash. I'll have my rum and no man will stop me.
No, can't leave. Not now.
Please. Come in, man, come in.
Mummy, I need a drink.
No, Mr. Pellet, not a drop. Here or anywhere else in Fukushima.
Give me a drink, man. I'll get on your blasted ship.
Oh. Well, then you agree to leave?
Yeah.
And on the next ship?
Yes, on the next ship.
You can have your rum, but you'll be on that ship when she sails.
I'll be on it. Give me a drink, man, quick.
So you can get a drink at Mr. Howe's. I'll send a message to him.
Mummy, with all I could do to get this far, I need a drink now.
All right, Mr. Pellet, but just one. I will not have you disgracing me in my own house. Yeah? Take it.
One more.
No.
Give me that bottle. Now, Mum, if you come to Michael Howes with me, I'll buy you a drink.
No, thank you, Mr. Pellet. I'd rather not be seen in your company.
Write a note to Howe. Tell him to sell me rum. I'll take it with me.
Do you have to get drunk now, Mr. Pellet?
Now. You back out of this and I'll kill you, Mummy. Now.
All right, Mr. Pellet. But it will be a happy day for all of us when you're aboard that ship.
I'll find me another island, Mummy. And you'll be transferred there one day. Eh?
God forbid. I'll write you your note, and I want to see no more of you till the day you leave.
That's good enough for me. You're dull company, Mummy.
At least I'm a gentleman, Mr. Pellet. And I have enough respect for myself not to become a walking insult to me and my race.
The note, Mummy, the note. You can come to Howes and preach to me. I don't mind it there. Hurry, man. Hurry. Hurry.
You are listening to The Price of the Head, tonight's presentation of Escape. Sometimes it's fun to escape with an adventure story as you're doing now. At other times, it's fun to relax with music. Tomorrow on CBS Radio, you can enjoy the second in our series of Helsinki's festivals. The program will open with the Sibelius Symphony No. 5 in E-flat major and continue with 4 more of his most impressive works. Enjoy easy listening on World Music Festivals tomorrow over most of these stations. And now back to Escape and the second act of The Price of the Head.
In the days that followed, Pellet became a sodden lump of flesh preserved in alcohol. He did not smile, nor dance, nor exhibit any of the amiable eccentricities that sometimes recommend the drunken to a certain toleration. He was a brute, and he behaved like a brute. But all the time, waiting for the day the ship would arrive, Karaki remained true and showered more devotion than ever upon his friend. He spent his evenings outside Michael Howes' bar, patiently waiting for Pellet to get drunk enough to take along home. Night after night, Karaki waited, while the white man stood roaring inside.
Boy, Jack, bring me another bottle.
Please, Mr. Pellet, close up now. You plenty too much drunk already.
Don't tell me when to drink. I'll go get that bottle. Joan.
All right, Mr. Pellet, all right. I get bottle. I fix you bottle.
Now hurry it up, you bald clown. Who told you to open it?
Next time I'll open the bottle. If you want a broken head, Moy Jack. Where's Howe?
Mr. Howe gone home. Plenty good rum, yes, Mr. Pellet?
It stinks. So do you. So does everyone on this bloody island.
No like rum?
Here's what I think of your rum. Now come here, Moy Jack. Because I'm going to crack your head. I'm going to crack your head.
Karaki! Karaki! Take him along home now, Karaki.
A few minutes later, the wiry little Karaki had the white man across his shoulder and bore him down the beach to the miserable shelter of pandana sleeves they called home. There he eased Pellet to a mat, bathed him with cool water, and carefully brushed the dirt from his bright red hair and whiskers. Then he sat by with a fan and kept the mosquitoes from the drunkard's bloated face. He sat there all night while Pellet slept. It was midday before Pellet awoke and ground his way out of a painful fog of alcohol.
Rum, Crocky, rum.
Coconut more better. Here. Drink milk. Feel fine soon.
Feel fine soon. I've had some rum, Karaki. Haven't you got a bottle around here, son?
No rum. You drink along too much rum last night. Too much Moy Jack rum.
Huh? What do you mean? It's too much Moy Jack rum.
Moy Jack put white powder in bottle. Make me sleep.
White powder? So that's it. What a little rat.
Boy jack him all the time laugh.
Okay, well, slow down.
Be careful. Boy jack him all the time carry knife. Cut face all up.
Little wax man. I'll murder him. Come on, Karaki.
You watch out for knife. And boy jack him plenty fast.
I'll kill him.
Watch him fella close. Fella no get face cut.
I'll handle him, Karaki. Don't you worry.
Half in anger and half in anticipation of the pleasure of beating a man, Pellet staggered down the beach toward Howe's bar. It was the noon hour of repose, and all Fufuti was asleep. Pellet reached the bar and found Moy Jack dozing peacefully among the bottles. He woke him with a savage kick.
Get up, you dirty scum! Get up so I can bust holes in you.
Oh, hurt me, Mr. Pellet. Let go!
Leave me on this, will you? Not again, you won't.
Now, I cut you. Cut you, Mr. Pellet.
Would you now? Well, I'll just fix me a knife, too. Come on, boy. I want to twist this bottle around in your face. I'll learn you to fight with a red-headed man. I'll learn you. He's dead. I killed him. I killed him like I said, Karachi.
Yes. Dead. Plenty trouble now. Police?
Yeah. Come on, let's get out of here. Where we go, Karachi? We gotta hide something.
You go along house on beach. Wait there. Me fixin' boat. Leave for footy quick.
What boat? You got no boat.
Me find a boat. Me hide fella friend, Pellet.
All right. I trust you, but hurry, man. Hurry.
Pellet waited in terror in the shack on the beach while Karaki broke into the boat sheds and with an axe smashed the bottoms out of the 3 craft sheltered there. Then he opened the trade room and quickly gathered together a bundle of supplies, including a rifle and a box of cartridges. Next he carried everything out onto the beach and loaded it into a stout outrigger canoe that belonged to Mr. Mummery. Finally, he fetched Pellet from the shack, and together they hurriedly launched the canoe in the lagoon. Karaki rigged the big knot sail, and then paddled out into the breeze just beyond the harbor entrance.
We made it, Karaki. We're safe.
Yes.
Hey, look, where are we headed for anyway? What island we go, Karaki?
Bougainville.
You crazy? That's 800 miles from here.
All the same, we go along my home.
800 miles?
We go. All fine. Always one to bring you along my home.
All right, Karaki. I don't know why you're doing it for me, but I'll see you through.
It was not the beginning of a very pleasant voyage for Mr. Christopher Pellet. The fear of being captured and hanged was great enough, but added to it were the horrors brought on once more by the lack of alcohol. The first night he was too seasick to care, but by morning he was raving.
Rum. Give me rum, you blasted heathen.
No, got him rum.
You bloody fool, why did you pack in some rum?
Need water. No need rum. Got plenty water.
Curse you, Karaki, I don't drink water.
Better you drink water.
Well, I won't. Turn back. I'll take hanging to this. Turn back, I tell you.
Soon catch him. One big fella wind. Blow straight to Bougainville.
No. How could you find Bougainville anyway? No. We're going back, I tell you.
Karaki easily tied the weakened white man hand and foot and continued to sail off into the open sea. Now and then he threw a dipper full of seawater over the white man and occasionally fed him with coconut milk. Karaki was an excellent nurse. He even combed Pellet's red hair and whiskers twice every day. By the time they reached the Santa Cruz region, Pellet's condition had improved and Karaki released him. They were now in an area peppered with tiny islets, and Karaki decided to land on the lee of one in order to replenish their water supply. He had dropped sail and was paddling slowly into the beach when suddenly, from out of nowhere, a cutter carrying 2 white men appeared behind them.
No catches, Karaki and Pettit. You go away. He's full.
Put the gun down, Karaki. We're in enough trouble now.
Okay, I shoot.
For some foolish reason, the 2 white men did not believe a native would dare resist them. And for their mistake, they were both killed. Karaki, however, wasted no time sailing back into the open sea without his precious water. And 29 days later, he was doling out the few remaining drops to Pellet, taking none for himself. His every gesture was one of sacrifice, that his white companion might survive. Finally, on the 36th day, they sighted Choiseul, and by noon they came ashore. There they stayed for a week, fattening themselves on the unlimited supply of coconut.
So you think Bougainville is just under the horizon, eh, Karaki?
Yes.
Mighty good thing, too. You know, this is the limit of British authority, my boy. Big fella British master stop him here. No can go that side, eh?
Yes. No can punish Karaki for anything he do Bougainville side. My word. No catch Pellet. Never.
What makes you so sure of that?
Me savvy.
Well, all right, old chap. You got me this far. I trust you. You know, you're quite a fella, Karaki.
Yes.
Sure don't talk much, though. My heaven, maybe Mummery was right. I'd sure like to know what goes on under that top knot of yours, my boy. I'd like to tell you how grateful I am. Wish I could show you. Listen, Karaki, me one big fella friend, long you, savvy? You one big fella friend, long me, savvy? We 2 big fella friend always. What?
Yes, my word.
Oh, Karaki, you kill me.
And thus did Christopher Pellet express his gratitude to the quiet savage who had with rarest self-sacrifice saved his life again and again. And now that he was thoroughly sober, he could understand it no more than Mummery had back in Fufuti. 2 days later, under a beautiful dawn, they sailed into Bougainville, into a bay that was crystal blue, and right up onto a dazzling white beach. Pellet was the first ashore, and he ran up to a rocky point to see all the charm of the place for himself. Karaki, in his simple and efficient way, proceeded about his own affairs. He landed what was left of the supplies stolen at Fufuti. A few minutes after, Pellet heard a gentle footstep behind him, and turned to find Karaki standing there with the rifle at his hip and the axe in his hand.
Me like.
Me like, too. Great place you've got here, Karaki.
Me like him head.
Huh? What? Oh, me like him you too, Karaki. We big fella friend, right?
Me like him too much. One fella belong along you.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Red hair. Fine red whisker. Big prize here. Smoke him head. Make him Karaki, big man on island.
You mean you got my head?
Fine head. Very fine head. Cut him off now.
That was the way of it. That was all the mystery. In Karaki's country, a white man's head, well smoked, was indeed a prize. But that of Mr. Christopher Pellet, with his precious red whiskers, was a thing to be desired above the love of women. And the simple, patient, enduring Karaki had served hard to win it. And did it really matter to Pellet how or why he died, since his own race would have hanged him for murder anyway?
Escape, produced and directed by David Friedkin and Morton Prine, has brought you The Price of the Head, a story by John Russell and adapted for radio by John Meston. Featured in the cast were Mary Jane Croft, Hans Conried, Ben Wright, and Jack Crucian. Also heard were Clayton Post and Herb Butterfield. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
There's a fortune in the cabin of an airplane crashed on an island somewhere in the Caribbean. And only you know where it is. By your side, sailing the treacherous channels, a smiling killer with a knife, from whom there is no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you E. Jack Newman's story, The Coward. There's music on Melody Ranch tomorrow on CBS Radio when the popular galloping cowboy with the golden voice returns. He's Gene Autry, as singing a saddled man as ever rode the range. Meet Gene Autry at the Old Corral when he returns to Melody Ranch tomorrow on most of these same stations. Stay tuned now for Night Watch, which follows immediately over most of these same stations. Where there's Gunsmoke, there's Western Adventure, Monday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Lawson presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Torrey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are on the third moon of Jupiter in their spacesuits, attempting to pull Major Robertson out of a crevice into which he has fallen. Buzz has lowered Happy into the crevice where thousands of beetle-like insects are swarming. Beetles that seem impervious to the cold and lack of atmosphere.
Just a couple more feet, sir. That's it, sir. Loop the rope under the Major's arms, Happy. Just a minute, sir. I brush off some of these insects. Gee, some of them just won't brush off, sir. They're awful. They're a nice suit, too. They're all over the Major's. Hey, Commander, they're eating through our spacesuits. We've got to get the Major out of there and get back to the ship. If these insects puncture our suits, we're finished.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Moon Beetles. The hour has struck. Yes, today is the last time we can offer you a pair of those wonderful new space binoculars that you can see way off in the distance with. Big 4-power plastic space binoculars, 5 inches wide, 5 inches long, plenty big and plenty of fun. Gang, you can watch people blocks away, study birds in real tall trees, read signs way off in the distance, spot planes high in the sky, and listen, you'll wear space binoculars on your head. Yes, sir, a strong, elastic band holds them snugly to your eyes, makes you look like a strange man from Mars, leaves your hands absolutely free. Yes, the hour has struck. Today is the last time we can offer you these terrific new Space Patrol space binoculars. To get a pair exactly like Buzz Corey wears, do this. Buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, today's Space Patrol story, The Moon Beetles. In their space battle cruiser, Terra 5, Buzz and Happy are approaching Jupiter's number 2 moon to investigate the mysterious failure of equipment in one of the automatic instrument stations. Their viewscope is trained on a surface of a cold, barren, airless satellite as Happy watches for the dome-shaped image of the atmosphere shell to reveal they're nearing the unmanned instrument station.
Jupiter's number 2 moon sure is a desolate place. Nothing but craters and mountains, and more craters and mountains. And they all look the same. I don't even recognize any landmarks.
Well, we should have brought Robbie along. He knows most of Jupiter's satellites the way you and I know the Earth's moon.
Oh, speaking of Major Robertson, sir, I was a little surprised to find out he was meeting us on Jupiter.
Oh?
Well, I figured he'd be getting ready for the big day on Terra on the 3rd of the month. You know, the Interplanetary Medal Award ceremony.
I hope we can all be there. We will if we don't run into serious trouble on this instrument failure investigation.
But, sir, doesn't the Major have to be there to receive the award?
Well, I was under the impression that the name of the person to receive the Interplanetary Medal was kept secret until the day of the ceremony. What makes you think Robbie's going to get it?
Well, I heard rumors.
Well, personally, I'd like to see Major Robertson get it, too. The final decision is up to the award committee. They aren't going to let the news out ahead of time. We're getting close to the instrument station, Happy. See those 2 cone-shaped peaks at the edge of that broad, shallow crater?
Yes, sir.
The instrument station is right between those peaks. That's funny.
What's that, Commander?
The small atmosphere shell should be visible now.
Maybe the sunlight's hitting it at a wrong angle.
It should still show up in the viewscope. Happy, the shell's gone.
Huh?
Switch the spacephone receiver to the ultra-high frequency automatic instrument channel and see if any signals are getting out.
Yes, sir. Well, this is the right channel, sir.
Some of the instruments are still sending, but I can't understand what happened to that atmosphere dome.
Maybe a meteor hit it.
If it came in at a tangent, it might break the shell without damaging all the instruments. Get our spacesuits, Happy. While I set the ship down, we'll make an on-the-spot check.
There are the instruments, sir. They don't seem to be damaged. The dome's foundation's intact. So are the double hatches to the airlock. The metal framework and the gates are still standing. Happy, I'm afraid your meteor theory is out. But if it came in almost parallel to the surface of the moon and hit the shell... There would still be fragments of the plastic shell scattered all over the area. Take a look. The ground all around is perfectly clean. Wow, the shell must have been completely disintegrated. That would put most of the instruments out of commission, even those that were picking up cosmic radiations from the receptors outside the shell. It's very strange, Happy. Cut off the atmosphere plant. We'll get back to the ship and blast off. Yes, sir. I'll spacephone Robbie and ask him to meet us in Chargon instead of Jupiter City. Isn't that just south of Jupiter City? Yes, it's a technological center. It's where Dr. William Conrad receives and analyzes the data transmitted from these instrument stations on the different moons. I wonder how he'll analyze the fact that a whole atmosphere...
Are you saying there weren't even any fragments of the atmosphere shell? That's right, Robbie. The whole thing just disappeared.
And none of the instruments were physically damaged?
No, Doctor. Some of them stopped transmitting because of the cold.
It really got us puzzled, Dr. Conrad. What do you think could have happened?
Well, Happy, I won't even speculate until a thorough investigation is made.
Well, at the moment, Doctor, I feel this is a job for the security section. Robbie, get a lab ship and blast off for moon number 2. Yes, sir.
Do you want me to go with the Major, Commander?
You'll be needed here in Chargon, Doctor. You've got to evaluate the data from the other moon centers.
I'll keep in contact with you from number 2 moon and give you any information I can gather.
Good. Robbie, I'll leave the investigation in your hands. Happy and I'll go to our temporary quarters and get some rest.
I can use a little sleep.
I'll call you first thing in the morning, Dr. Conrad. Come on, Happy.
Sleep is the next order.
Happy, wake up.
Oh, Commander, what time is it?
6:05 hours Universal Star Time. Are you going to sleep all day?
Oh, don't be stupid, huh? I plan to be awake before you, sir. Say, are you sure it's 6:05?
Look at your watch.
Yeah, but it's still dark outside. That's why I left the shade up, figuring the sun would wake me up.
Yes, I noticed how dark it was. Maybe we're having an eclipse of the sun. They're fairly frequent on Jupiter with 12 moons in the sky.
I'm sure. I should have thought of that. Have you talked to Dr. Conrad?
I phoned his lab, but wasn't able to reach him.
Maybe he overslept, too. From the sound of things outside, it sounds like the middle of the day. Come here and look, sir. The streets are full of people. These Shargon citizens must be early risers, or else they got up to see the eclipse.
The eclipse here wouldn't cause that much excitement.
Well, you know, the lights are on all over the city.
Well, that must be Dr. Conrad. I told the project quarters to put the call in here. Corey speaking.
Commander, this is Dr. Conrad.
Oh, yes, Doctor. I've already called your lab.
I'm not at the laboratory. I'm at the spaceport. Can you come over?
Is something wrong?
Haven't you noticed the darkness?
Yes. The 4 biggest moons must be eclipsing the sun all at once.
This is no eclipse, Commander. The Shargon atmosphere shell is completely covered with insects.
Insects?
Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. They're blanketing the entire dome. Billions of them. Space Control isn't letting any ship in or out of the space lodge. They're afraid the insects will swarm into the city.
Doctor, where are you now?
I'm in the Spaceport Master's office.
I'll be right over.
I'm ready, Commander.
Then let's go. Now, here's the office, Doctor.
Commander, I expected you sooner. I was beginning to get worried.
We're tied up in traffic, Doctor. People are running around almost in a panic.
Well, I can't say I blame them. It's not exactly reassuring to know you're under a roof of billions of living insects.
I didn't think Jupiter had that many insects. Where do they all come from?
We don't know. One spaceship came through the lodge just at dawn. The pilot said the insects are like a shiny black sea all around the atmosphere dome. I've got a few specimens here, Commander, in these 2 small plastic boxes.
Let's have a look at them.
Hundreds of insects were drawn through the space lock when the ship entered. That's why Space Control closed the port.
Look, and rockets, look at the size of them. They must be about 2 inches long.
They seem to be some sort of beetle. I don't recognize them.
Well, I showed them to a friend of mine in the communication section, an amateur entomologist. He says he's never seen anything like them before on any planet.
Very strange. Entirely new variety of insects appearing by the billions, and here on Jupiter, of all places.
Hey, one of the bugs got loose. He's crawling across the desk.
You take the lid off the box, Captain?
No, sir. Look, the lid is still on it.
Then how did it get out?
Hey, listen, what's that?
Warning signal. Yellow alert.
Yellow alert. Something must be wrong with the city's atmosphere plant.
Happy, quickly. Close all the windows airtight. Doctor, cut on the emergency air vents.
What could be the matter?
That signal means the air outside this building isn't fit to breathe. Check the Polaroid windows.
All the windows are closed tight, sir.
Airtight. Good.
Emergency air vent on, Commander. We're all right for the time being.
Yes, Doctor, but those people out in the streets, if they don't get inside a building with emergency air supply, they're in trouble. I'll get it. Quartermaster's office. He isn't here. This is Commander Corey of the Space Patrol. I see. Yes, Captain, your procedure's correct. Right, Corey out. That was the Atmosphere Control Center. The yellow alert was sounded because the detectives registered a high methane gas content in the air.
Methane?
You mean there's a leak in the atmosphere shell?
More than a leak, a serious break.
What happened?
Look at this plastic box, Doctor.
There is a hole in it.
Exactly. That beetle ate through the plastic box. And above us, there are billions of insects eating their way through the plastic atmosphere shell.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment. Presenting the mystery of the battling basketball player. Sometimes this 10-year-old boy would be a sharpshooter. He'd make basket after basket after basket. But then, at other times, ouch, he'd miss shot after shot. And so it went. Sometimes a shooting star, sometimes a falling star. Here was the trouble. This boy was only getting supercharged now and then. On some mornings, he'd have a power breakfast with rice checks or wheat checks, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. That's when he'd really shoot those baskets. But then, at other times, well, he'd just eat any old breakfast. and that's when they'd call him Fumbler. So, gang, remember, to be a winner every day, you have to get supercharged every day. In other words, enjoy that rice Chex and wheat Chex in your cupboard all the time, not just some of the time. Make it a rule to do what Buzz Corey does. Eat a power breakfast with rice Chex or wheat Chex every single day. The bite-sized super cereals that help to supercharge you. Delicious Chex. And now back to our Space Patrol story, The Moon Beetles. The city of Shargan on the planet Jupiter is perilled by a vast swarm of strange insects that completely cover the atmosphere shell. These beetle-like insects are gnawing through the thick plastic of the transparent dome over the city, and now the air is contaminated with the harmful gases that compose Jupiter's atmosphere. Buzz, Happy, and Dr. William Conrad have rushed to the atmosphere washing plant, while Major Robertson, at the commander's order, is at the spaceport, ready to lead an exterminator's squadron. Happy and the doctor are standing before the giant motors that force the atmosphere through chemical filters and purifiers, waiting for Buzz to return from the office of the chief air control engineer.
Oh, the engineers just cut on another auxiliary motor. That's the last one. The plant's working at full capacity. Yeah, but so are those bugs. Oh, here's the commander. Commander, what did the chief engineer say?
Oh, it's a losing battle. You just can't build up enough pressure inside the shell to equal the heavy Jupiter atmosphere pressure on the outside. Unless those insects are stopped, pretty soon big chunks of the dome will fall in on the city. They could plunge right through the roof.
Well, do you think that DB12X insecticide will kill the bugs, Commander?
I don't know. And if I give Robbie the order to take the exterminator squadron outside the shell, that insecticide will contaminate the entire city.
You mean it's harmful to human beings?
Definitely.
But don't you think it's worth the risk, Commander? If the dome collapses...
Oh, you're right, Doctor. There's no time to waste. We'll broadcast a warning for everyone to keep off the streets and to seal their doors and windows. And we'll go back to Space Patrol headquarters, and I'll tell Robbie to take the squadron up.
Commander, the streets have been completely cleared, and the Major and the squadron have been spraying the outside of the dome for 20 minutes. The DB12X ought to be showing some results.
If it's going to work. I'll contact Robbie. Commander Corey at Shargan Space Patrol headquarters calling Major Robertson aboard Space Patrol cruiser J571. Corey to Major Robertson.
Robertson here. Go ahead, Commander.
Is it working, Robbie?
All 8 ships have made 10 passes with the insecticide, Commander. Insects are saturated with the stuff. It doesn't seem to phase them.
You've got to find something that's effective and find it quickly.
Well, heat might do it. You get enough ships with atomic flame ejectors and play them over the dome.
There aren't any on Jupiter. What about trying ultrasonic vibrations?
That's it. That'll do it, Commander.
Dr. Conrad, do you know of a lab ship here in Shargan that's got an ultrasonic generator in it?
Oh, yes, Commander. There is one at the spaceport.
Good. Robbie, order the squadron to return to base, but you stay aloft. Happy, Dr. Conrad and I will get the lab ship and blast off immediately.
Lab ship secured for blast-off, Commander.
All right, Hap, I'll notify Space Control. Commander Corey and Lab Ship X211 in Area 28, calling Space Control Shargan.
Space Control Shargan, go ahead.
We're ready for blast-off.
You may blast off at will, sir. Space Control out.
Stand by to fire rockets, Happy.
Standing by, sir.
Ready, Doctor?
Yes, Commander.
Fire rockets.
Here come the locks, sir.
Reduce power and we'll circle back to the dome.
What a sight. The dome is black with those insects.
I hope this ultrasonic generator does the trick. I'd hate the idea of going back down through that roof of beetles.
Dr. Conrad, will you operate the generator?
Of course, Commander.
That must be the Major ship off on our starboard viewport.
Right. Corey aboard Lab Ship X211 calling Major Robertson.
Robertson here. Go ahead, sir.
We're going to make a head-on pass at the dome, Robbie.
Good hunting.
All right, Doctor. Turn on the generator.
I've set it at 1 million cycles, Commander. That frequency should be fatal to most insects.
Give it plenty of power.
Yes, Commander.
Here we go, right over the dome. Happy, set the viewscope to high magnification.
Yes, sir.
We'll circle back and make another pass.
How's the viewscope setting, sir?
Fine. You can see the insects quite clearly.
They don't seem to be affected by the vibration. Shall I increase the frequency?
Oh, wait. Look, they're dropping off the dome.
Hey, they sure are. Sliding off by the thousands.
It's working, Commander. Sides of the dome are nearly clear.
Would you look at that? They're sliding off like a black avalanche.
We'll make a couple more passes just to make sure we've got them all.
Look at how they're heaping up around the base of the atmosphere shield. It's going to be some job clearing them away.
The first problem is to get a crew to work sealing up those holes in the dome.
Commander, this is Robbie.
Yes, Robbie?
More trouble. I just got word that there's a plague of those beetles on moon number 3. They've attacked the small atmosphere shell over the research station. That could disrupt the entire interplanetary communications system, to say nothing of ruining all space flight aid stations.
Hey, we'd better get out there with the ultrasonic generator.
It wouldn't work on that moon, Happy. There's no atmosphere to transmit the high-frequency sound of the insects. They've got to be brought under control.
Smoking rockets.
Well, there are 100 men on that station. They can't even be evacuated because they can't open the space locks.
What's wrong with the power unit?
Communications picked up automatic signals that indicate a relay didn't work. Somebody could get there, get inside the power unit shell, and flip that switch. The research station would have power restored.
But how about the insects?
Doctor, the new delta ray, would that destroy the insects?
Yes, but it has to be focused so that the rays wouldn't penetrate the shell, or it would destroy the men inside, too.
Is there a delta ray here in Chargon?
No, the nearest one is in Jupiter City.
Robbie, you blast off for moon number 3 and get that power on. Happy and I'll go to Jupiter City for the delta ray and join you on the moon's research station. There's the research station, Happy. We'll put our speed in circle.
I'll get the delta ray ready.
Now, don't turn it on till I give you the word. Got to be sure of our focusing range.
Yes, sir. Wow, look at that dome. Just like the one at Chargon. Covered with beetles.
Well, there's Robbie's ship near the dome.
One of the majors got the power on yet.
I don't think so. We'd be hearing from him.
Just look at those insects all around the station.
At least they aren't attacking the power unit, though.
Major Robertson calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Major Robertson calling Commander Corey.
Corey here. Where are you, Robbie?
In a pretty tight spot, Commander. You get the delta ray?
What's the trouble?
I was in my spacesuit walking toward the power unit shell when these confounded beetles attacked me. Rolled all over me. When I beat them off, I fell into a crevice near the power shell, and I'm wedged in.
We'll land and pull you out.
I don't want to rush you, but these insects are eating my spacesuit. I managed to brush them off some plastic face piece, but they're all over me. Any minute now, they're going to puncture the suit.
We'll set the ship down right away. Happy, get out our spacesuits and some rope.
There he is, Commander. He's really wedged in. Look at those beetles. There are hundreds of them down in the crevice and all over him. Robbie, can you read me? Yes, sir. They're going to drop you a rope. Grab it. Go ahead, Hap. Catch, Major. All right, hang on. We'll pull you up. Hey, it slipped out of his hand. Robbie, can't you hang on? I haven't got any strength. Are you hurt? It's my leg. I'm beginning to feel pain. Losing air. This is no time to pass out. That suit is punctured. You're finished. Robbie. Robbie. Commander, I'd better go down there and tie the rope around him. No, you might get caught, too. I'll go down. Commander, you can pull the Major and me out, but, well, I'm not sure I can pull both of you up. No, Happy, it's too dangerous. Please, sir, let me go. It's the only way to save Major Robertson. And don't forget the men in the station. You may be right. Here, take the rope. I'll lead you down. Yes, sir. Lower away. Now, hang on, Happy. That's it. A couple more feet, sir. Okay. Hold it. I'm looping the rope around the Major's arm. Help me if you can, Major. All right, Happy. You ready, Hap? Just a minute, sir. I'm going to brush off some of these beetles. One of them burrowed in nearly through my suit. Okay. Pull. Now hang on to Robbie. He's wedged in pretty tight. Oh, my leg. He's loose now, Commander. Pull us up. Okay. Commander, your face piece. There are beetles swarming all over it. I can't brush them off now. But they'll eat through the plastic. I can't let go of the rope till you and Robbie are out of there. We're nearly to the top. That does it. pretty bad shape. All right, Hap. Clean off your face. The beetle is half buried in it. They're all over you.
Yeah, I know. They're all over you, too, sir.
Get to the ship quickly. They'll peel out of these spacesuits in the airlock and then turn the delta ray on the research station shell.
I guess we'll have to carry the major, sir.
All right, Happy. Come on. Gotta hurry.
The delta ray is focused, Happy. Give it another charge.
Hey, it's working. The beetles are dropping off the shell like flies.
Well, this ray works better than the ultrasonic generator. See that, Robbie?
Yeah. Really shriveling them up.
How's your leg?
A little better. Good.
As we wipe out the beetles, we'll land and turn the power unit on.
Hey, if we can clean this up and blast off for Terra pretty soon, we'll be able to get the major back for the interplanetary award ceremony.
Funny, I almost forgot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Go on up, Major. The commander's ready to give you the medal.
Quiet, Happy. The commander's going to speak.
Fellow citizens of the United Planets, it's my privilege and honor as last year's recipient of the Interplanetary Award to present this symbol of courage and service to the current winner. It's a special source of pride to me because the award goes to a member of my own space patrol.
Major, the commander's looking this way. He wants you to go up.
The choice this year was a difficult one for the committee, and the person chosen by them has declined the honor.
But, Major,
Quiet, Hap. The commander's speaking.
Yes, the selected candidate, Major Robertson, Security Chief of the Space Patrol, feels that the Interplanetary Award should go to the man who risked his own life to save another, and thereby help save the lives of 100 men. So, in a special session, the committee accepted the Major's suggestion, and I shall now present the Interplanetary Award to a member of the Corps of Cadets, Cadet Happy.
Huh? Me? But I...
Go on, Happy. Get up there. Hey, Happy. Hap.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have to ask Major Robertson to accept the award for Cadet Happy. It seems the courageous winner of the Interplanetary Award has just fainted.
An exciting preview of next week's thrilling Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. But first, gang, here it is. Here's the only way to get a pair of Space Patrol space binoculars. Now, all you do is... Here's a radio ray from Terra.
Boys and girls, this is your commander, and I have a message for you that's so important, I've interrupted Vic Tufel. Here's my message. Today is positively the last time we can offer you a pair of official space binoculars. This is the greatest offer we've ever made, and it's one item I feel that every one of you should have. All those thousands and thousands of boys and girls now have their space binoculars. I know for a fact that many of you have still not sent in. So don't wait. This is important and vital. Send in today for your Space Patrol space binoculars. This is absolutely the last time we can make this sensational offer. Hurry up.
Thank you, Commander. And boys and girls, remember this. These are not flimsy goggles. They're real, full-size, full-field, 4-power binoculars made of long-lasting plastic. Real, full-size, full-field, 4-power binoculars that make everything in the distance look bigger, closer, clearer. The revolutionary new binoculars you wear on your head. Thrills and fun galore. You can identify buildings way off in the distance, spot planes, study birds, watch far-off traffic, read distant signs, and do lots and lots of other things with your space binoculars all year long. Now, to get a pair, buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. If you don't agree your binoculars are tops, return them and we'll return your money. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, an exciting preview of next week's thrilling Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy have just left Terra 5 to enter a damaged spaceship far out beyond the Pluto orbit. They've entered the wrecked ship in their spacesuits to rescue 2 unconscious men. Around the ship, Huge chunks of metal hurtle through space on an unknown orbit.
We'll have to carry them, Happy. You take this one, I'll handle the big fellow. Yes, sir. Hey, Commander, the ships are swerving right into that stream of metal fragments. I thought I set the controls to keep pace with them. Those fragments aren't going in a straight line, but in a swirling motion like a whirlpool. Hey, Commander, they're battering the ship to pieces. They're breaking us up. We gotta get these men inside quickly. Before the fragments puncture the ship, or we're finished, all of us.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Strange Gift of the New Star, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Ken Mayer and Bela Kovach. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC TV station. Consult your paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.